The following podcast contains naughty language and ridiculous situations. Listener discretion is advised.
Tonight, I'm very excited because after a while, I may have found my smile, because what we're doing right now is we're having yet another Patreon takeover. And we're going to be joined by the original Alabama Slammer himself. That's right. He has a giant flat screen and even a bigger heart. That's right. You know him from the show. You love him from the Canopy podcast. Oh, my God. He's been in my house. We've hung out in real life. He's even met my mom briefly. And as we found out recently, he even peed in my shower. So tonight, we are going to hang with Evil Corny. And welcome to Trick or Treat Radio.
Welcome all you little zombies. You're listening to Trick or Treat Radio, starring the Deadites.
Welcome to episode 484. A lot of fours in there. 34Z, Raven Shadow. Is that what episode we're on? 80-40 Thursday?
That's a score in 740s ago.
Episode 484 of Trick or Treat Radio. If you hadn't heard, Trick or Treat Radio is the world's most dangerous podcast and is recorded in front of an undead studio audience here at Castle Wolfenstein. Also at the Lair of Lost Swag within the Raven Chateau, aptly named by our guest on the show, which we'll get to in a moment. Also broadcasting from the dilapidated... the dilapidated MC. Sorry. I just thought of how upset Raven Shadow gets on the posters being taken down. Raven Shadow, you're pissed, aren't you?
I am pissed. It's a fucking dilapidated dojo. What the fuck?
The dilapidated dojo. Broadcasting from the dilapidated dojo, it's MZ. And from the Lair of the Gods, we have Ares, God of War, and the man of the hour, the power hour, as we're going to call it, is the original maestro of the Patreon takeover. He's back once again, ladies and gentlemen. He's back, and we're joined by Evil Corny.
What's up?
What's up, Corny? Glad to have you back, my friend. How's it going?
Everything's going okay. Just working and watching movies and watching movies.
In that order?
Yeah.
What's that, MZ?
The only way to live.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. What are you drinking, MZ? What do you got there? Is that orange soda? Seltzer?
No. It's seltzer water. Yeah, it's AHA. I'm drinking strawberry and cucumber.
Take on.
I'm thinking of Living Daylights theme.
Rave Chat, we were right there, man. Neither of us could sing, though, so. Aries, where were you, man? You were thinking it.
I was questioning whether I was actually here or not, because I quietly came into the call. No one acknowledged me, and we just kind of went about the business. And I'm like,
I think
on?
I said hi.
I don't know.
I thought I said hi.
Hey, Aries.
No, I didn't hear anyone. I was just like, okay, maybe my video's not working, and
So you just
let's
gonna
see how long this was going to happen.
just wing it.
How you doing, Aries?
Something new. I'm not bad. How are you, Corny?
I'm all right.
Well, see, I can forgive Corny because he was having technical difficulties when I came on.
Yeah.
Raven Shadow was bitching about people moving again.
I am. Listen. I'm so upset. But look at the fucking the DVDs in the background, all slopped over, like looking like faulty fucking towers, or the walk that the dude from Monty Python does. I'm just so upset. The posters are gone. Everything's so Kubrickian over there with the white. Like, I
Your
don't
man
know.
in the truck going to arrive at any moment to start moving shit out.
Yeah, for next
See,
year.
well, I have a theory. MC is moving to Maine. all his shit's going to Goodwill.
Yeah, he's going to Maine. His shit's going somewhere else.
Yeah, it's all going to Will Smith.
Are you guys moving into like a little like tiny like studio apartment and you can't take anything with you?
No. We're actually, I forgot about bringing this up. No, we're looking at getting the house.
Oh, okay.
Wow. So you need more shit. So we'll send you all of our shit. How about that?
I got a larger place to put my. I got stuff here, stuff there. The whole George Carlin bit right now.
But then Montezero, you're gonna have to mow the lawn.
Oh God.
Oh, I'll tell you to come up and do it for me.
He ain't,
Since you love doing it so
he ain't
much.
going up. He ain't going to Maine. Right, Raven Chow? You ain't going to Maine.
I ain't going to Maine.
I can mow the lawn. Don't worry about that.
All right.
Get one of those riding. I don't need that. Just give me one of those. Just get me one of those man-powered push mowers, and boom, I can handle that. That's a sweat.
You can't handle caterpillars, dude. It'll kill you.
No. Hey.
Yeah, if you can't handle a Caterpillar, you can't handle a fucking John Deere, right?
Yeah.
No, not a John. I'm not talking about a gas-powered mower. I'm talking about a man-powered mower. One of the old mowers from like the 1930s, that they still make today.
So are you going to get a man to power that motor
push
then?
mower would kill you.
Yeah, where are you getting the man?
Yeah, is the man named Aries?
He sure ain't in those clothes you're wearing.
We're going to fill
You
out
might
the
need to get one
classified.
like those turtles from like the Flintstones to kind of cut your grass for you.
With the turtle, and the turtle's just chomping away at the grass as I'm pushing them around.
No, the thing is, MZ's actually going to kidnap Stephen King and move into his house. That's how far his stalking has gotten right now.
All right, it's an awesome house, I'll tell you.
MZ's like he didn't dispute it, so. All right, before we get too deep into things, I want to go ahead and kind of set the tone for what we're doing tonight. Tonight, it is a Patreon takeover by our good friend Evil Corny, and Evil Corny has programmed the show. And Corny, why don't you tell the folks what the two movies you picked are?
The two movies I picked are both released this year. One of them is The Green Knight, and the other is an animated feature called The Spine of Night.
Was that a plan? You got two night films?
Honestly, I was thinking about going with two Marvel films, but Shang-Chi, 10 Rings, it's not released on Disney Plus until the 12th, and the show is this week.
MZ dodged a bullet there.
Yeah.
MZ, imagine if you had to go see the Eternals and watch Shang-Chi on Disney Plus.
I can guarantee you I would not be on tonight.
What? Not even for Corny? That's fucked up, man.
My love for Corny, my love for Corny is outweighed. My admiration for Corny is outweighed by my hatred for Marvel Universe. Please.
Corny should have picked a Chris Pratt and Will Smith movie.
Oh, hell yeah!
Oh hell yeah!
Next time, pick the second sequel to Independence Day and the new Garfield film that's going to be coming out.
Well, supposedly, the joke now is that Chris Pratt will take anything that you offer him because he took Garfield. He's doing what was the other animated?
It's Mario.
Oh, Mario. Yeah, that's it.
Mario
Yeah. He's doing Super Mario Brothers. Yeah. So apparently he'll take anything now.
He's becoming the male Scarlett Johansson.
Speaking, I don't know why I thought of Scarlett Johansson when you mentioned Scarlett Johansson, but as someone who has directed her in Jojo Rabbit. But did you guys see the news that Taika Waititi is going to be directing an In-Cal movie? The In-Cal, you know about it, Rage. I don't know if you've read it, but it's the Alejandro Jodorowsky comic book that he did after he couldn't do his version of Dune. He took a lot of his ideas and concepts and put them into comic book form, and that turned into the Incal and into the Meta Barons. And so now they have named our boy Taika Waititi as the director of the Incal.
Well, that's true. I mean, that's we learned that from Steven Scarlatta's Jodorowsky's Dune.
Yep.
Watch that motherfucking documentary. It's fucking dope. But no, we have that comic. It's always in stock at the shop, the hardcover. I think Tiny grabbed it after pretty early on. I had to grab it too. I'm definitely fascinated by that. It's funny, like,
but I gotta.
Good. MZ.
I was just gonna say, I gotta ask you a question though, Raven Shadow and Aries, and although I think I'm more safe to think that Corny has gone through this. Have either of you two, Aries or Raven Shadow, ever seen a Jodorowsky film?
Not to my knowledge.
I have not. I've not.
We should do
He
one
has a
sometime.
West.
You're excited to. So half of the project, you're excited about the whole project, but you're only aware of half of whose involvement is in it.
Well, he's familiar with the Incal.
Yeah.
Which is what it's based on. Yeah.
Right.
Okay,
I mean,
all right.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure that
that's why I was.
knew.
Yeah, I was mentioning it more, getting Raven Shadow's opinion because he works in a comic book store. It's based on a graphic novel that Jodorowsky put out, and that's why I wanted to get his opinion on it. For Jodorowsky, I would go to you because you've seen the most Jodorowsky films, but I didn't think you knew the Incal.
Yeah, because I've seen the comic books. I've seen the graphic novels at your store. You do have them, I know that. And the last time I was there, I was so tempted to pick one up. I was this close to picking one up.
I've never read it, and I've always been super interested. But now that I know that it's going to be a film, I think that's the impetus I need to pick it up. How about you, Corny? Have you ever read the Incal? I don't know how much of a fan you are.
No, I've never read it.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm interested in it though. I also want Taika Waititi to make his Akira film.
It's nuts, man. Like the films he has coming up, like he's got a Star Wars film in pre-production. He's now been named the director of the Incal and also Akira. Like, how fucking ridiculous is that to have those three projects coming up on your calendar?
I think he's going to start time traveling so he can, take care of all that before,
Yeah. It's fucking nuts. MZ, are you still a fan of Taika's? Because I know you don't like the Marvel stuff, and he's dipped his toes in Marvel and Star Wars now. So how you feeling about Taika these days?
He did Doing the Shadows, and that pretty much covered any downfall that he might have in my eyes. So the movie is just pure magic.
So is the
any cinematic downfalls that he has, like working on Star Wars, like working on MCU, I take that with a grain of salt because he did What We Do in the Shadows.
Have you seen the TV show, MZ, What We Do in the Shadows?
I caught one episode, loved it. I haven't gotten back to it yet. I want to.
Yeah, you got to check it out, man. It's Taika was actually in one of the most recent episodes. He had a brief cameo, and he's one of the he's not a showrunner, but he's one of the executive producers. So he does have something to do. I think Jermaine Clement is more actively involved, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I mean it is such a good show, and it's obviously it's based on the film. But it's like this last season it just ended like last week, and I'm bummed out because the season ended. But it was a really fucking good episode, or season, I should say. It was really good. So I heartily recommend, if anyone hasn't jumped on that, you got to check it out. It's so good. So, Corny, what's going on over in podcast land for you over on the Movie Massacre? Tell folks a little bit about what's going on over there.
I'm just watching movies and talking films with Corey. We pretty much record on Wednesdays, and I think Corey does a bunch of editing and releases. Just sometimes. I'm not sure on the schedule on the releases, but you know. Yeah.
Corny just shows up
from the canopy.
He shows up and does his thing.
I just watch a bunch of movies, show up, and talk. Talking crack wise.
Raven Shadow, Aries, and MZ know what you mean.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, Corey's behind the networking area.
Yep.
But I just show up and bring myself.
The other thing I wanted to talk about early on here. So, by the way, if folks haven't checked out Movie Massacre, go ahead and give that a look and help support Corny and Corey. And those guys are awesome over there, and they do a good show. And you guys talk about a lot of movies. It's not just like one or two like we do. You guys cover, we talk about what you've been watching. I know, Corny, you watch a lot of movies every week, so you guys kind of cover a lot of bases there, right?
And don't forget,
Bobby
Blockbuster too, part of the team.
Yeah, and I don't mean to slight
I didn't mention Bobby.
Yeah, Corny didn't mention him either, but
I didn't.
I don't know Bobby. I know Corny and Corey, so that's why I think of them. But you're right to mention that Raven Shadow. So thank you. You looking for praise?
Yeah, Bobby's there too.
And a little bit of praise from somebody.
So cool. So everyone go check that out. Go check out Corny Show with Corey and Bobby and Raven Shadow. This last weekend we did a live Halloween special.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, yeah.
Oh my Lord. Yeah, no, it was very exciting. Yeah, so this past Saturday, October 30th, Devil's Night. Not only did we do a extra special Halloween Devil's Night special, which is very triumphant. I got some positive feedback. I talked to Slay Goth earlier in the week. But then after that, when that show ended, the discussion truly began, because then we did the most recent installment of the Blackout tapes. And we did around like 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time till about 10 p.m. for the show. And then we did the Blackout tapes from around 10 p.m. to truly about 3 in the morning. And there was some great conversation. Corny showed up. EF Contentment, Carlitos was there. It was awesome. But yeah, we capped it around. Marion hung out. Oddly enough, Aries and Monster Zero didn't give a fuck. But no, Wolf, you were there for a little bit. Yep.
Yeah, I popped in a little bit. I had plans, but I popped in for a little bit at the beginning. Wanted to make sure you guys were all cool. Everything was going, and just kind of shoot the shit with everyone for a few minutes.
It was good. Yeah, we long. So it was pretty much about like 7 hours of like conversations that Devil's Night. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a good time. So I want to thank everyone who hung out with us on the live Halloween special. It's now up on the podcast feed for those who haven't heard it yet. And also thank everyone who came and hung out for the Blackout tapes. It seemed like it was a good time. And we appreciate it. And we also tried something new for the extra special Halloween special, where we got to invite people to join us live. And we did that through our Discord server. So if you guys are not a part of our Discord server, we might kind of work that in a little bit more. Maybe not on the weekly show. We'll see how it goes. But in lieu of voice messages, I could see us doing something like that in the last hour or something. So something we're playing with. We did it that one time, and it seemed to go pretty well. So if you guys are not part of the Discord, head on over to discord.trickortreatradio.com.
And Johnny,
yeah,
just too, like we all did. It was mentioned on that show, but the poem that everyone contributed to was fucking great. The way you edited it was fucking fantastic.
Yeah, we did the Hearst song, and I think that came out pretty fucking cool. I really dug everyone's contributions.
In everyone's stories too. Everyone's like, ghost and goblin related stories about Halloween or supernatural machinations.
Yeah.
It's great.
I loved Double D talking about Randonautica. I almost downloaded it, but I was like, I don't know if I want to do that shit.
I ain't doing that.
I did convey the story to T-Dog, though, because she wasn't listening live, but I played her that, some choice cuts and played her the Double D thing, and she hates elevators to begin with. She doesn't like riding them. And so his elevator game ritual was like, yep, nope, I ain't doing that. So
I'm kind of tempted to try that.
You are, huh?
Yeah. I'm kind of tempted to try that.
Oh man, if you do that, Corny, you gotta let us know. It's fucked up, man. So yeah, so that was a lot of fun though, and we may start to work some more of that stuff into the show. We'll see how it goes. See if everyone digs it. See what people thought. But yeah, it was fun. So appreciate everyone who hung out and gave up their Devil's Night to spend some time with us. It was cool. Let's see. We got Marion says, hi guys, hi Corny. She's hanging out.
What's up, Marion?
And Marion brought you a pizza on Devil's Night Raven Channel. She saved you.
True, yeah, it was very helpful. It helped with the Long Island long haul that we went into. Yeah, we went long. I was down in the basement in the mud room talking with,
That just doesn't sound appealing. You're in the mud room.
It's not really mud there. It's just this is where the washer and dryer is, and the oil tank. You know what I mean? Like it's
and a beer shower. Don't forget the beer shower. Shower.
A lot of guys keep
what?
What?
Beer in their shower?
Beer in their half bath. Yeah.
No. Nobody does that.
Some people do.
You do.
I do. That's where the stash is down there. I can smoke down there. It's nice as a fan.
By the way, I didn't hear about the beer shower until after I left the house. I was back in Alabama before I heard anything about the beer shower.
To be fair, the beer shower was new with the pandemic. It's where I would store it because, you never know. I love the fact that package, what we call them package stores up here, Corny. I guess alcohol stores.
Alcohol stores. Who calls them that?
Yeah, we call it package store here too.
Oh, do you guys package store? It's funny.
I'm gonna go to the alcohol store. Who the fuck calls it that?
Yeah, honey, I'm taking an alcohol store. Do you need anything?
That's funny though.
As a package store, that is a ABC store. We have those here, but hard liquors like whiskey, your vodka and stuff. You don't sell those in grocery stores. They're either at package stores or ABC stores.
Or the alcohol store.
They use alcohol package. Store. But Corny, up here, we call them packies up here.
You probably shouldn't call them that, by the way.
I know. That's kind of racial.
Oh, Jesus Christ. But no, there was the thing when we were down in Chicago for Tron's wedding. I go to the guy in the hotel because the tradition was always we do some shots before someone made the big mistake, and so I go to the doorman, and I'm like, hey, is there a package store around? And he's like, oh yeah, you mean like UPS, FedEx? And in New England we call liquor stores package stores, and it was like, what? You call a liquor store a package store? This fucking guy over here. I'm like, listen, fucking doorman. Fucking, where can I buy whiskey? So I wasn't sure if it's like a cultural thing, like bubbler and water fountain, or like whole
bubbler,
bubbler fett.
What is a bubbler?
Boobala.
Rib Shells, what's a bubbler?
Bubbler. It's when the water comes out, you press the button and you get germs nowadays.
Water fountain?
Bubbler.
Bubbler.
Are you saying Bubba La? Bubba La?
Bubba La. Fuck that dude. Don't be like Wolfie's like surprised. Even like
Aries
Aries
is embarrassing himself, not you.
Go ahead, Ram Shadow. What are you saying?
We don't call it bubblers.
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 Somebody needs to teach you how to talk, dude.
Okay, good. Yeah, maybe in Maine they'll tell you how.
MZ will give you lessons.
Good. I can't fucking wait. Remedial fucking 101. I'll do really good this time.
Bubba. Going to the Bubba.
Bubbaleo.
Jesus. What about the Bubba?
I mean, I'm saying there's a difference between like rotary and what do you call it? What do we call it, Aries? Is it rotary or roundabout?
Aries does not want to be here right now.
Can we move this
we
shit along?
We call it a death trap when you're referring to Kelly Square.
Marion told me not to take Corny through Kelly Square back in the old Kelly Square. I was gonna, but she said don't.
It's too bad because it probably would have been his one and only chance because it's gone now, right? The fucking madness is gone, right?
Yeah, now it's the peanut.
The peanut.
It's a peanut-shaped rotary.
Okay.
Really?
It's really exciting, Raven Shadow. Were you going somewhere with that bubbler thing? I
don't know. You were egging me on, and I made a difference between the what do you call it? Colloquialisms, right? Colloquialism.
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 Where were you going with that?
Colloquialism beware.
But Johnny kept getting me going like he does, like he fucking knows what he's doing.
Okay, but if he didn't get you going, where were you going?
I don't know. It's part of the journey.
Then it isn't part of the journey.
I don't know. Turns out that they have package stores in Alabama, so they're not that much different than we are. But Chicago has no fucking idea what a package store is. I'm saying that different geographic regions has different fucking words and slang.
Yeah,
You'll find
not all of us moonshine here. You know, we get alcohol through legitimate means also.
Yeah, alcohol stores.
Alcohol stores.
Corny. I just want to let you know you dropped the ball this episode because you had the choice of two movies or a movie and a discussion. The discussion could have been me tearing Raven Shadow apart. That's all I'm saying.
Especially after last week. I think you eviscerated him last week.
No, we did.
There was it was hotly contested. There was a lot of people talking about last week.
Gary's got a lot of, I think.
You were clapping, Raven Shadow, when I said that. When I said people were talking about last week.
Harris, you never gave me that at Cash App. I could give you gas.
Raven Shadow, you want to play the game again? Who had the worst week? Because I can beat you with today.
Oh shit!
All right. Well,
let's play. Let's play. Who had the worst week? Raven Shadow, how was your week?
Hit me. Go ahead. What do you got?
How was your week, Raven Shadow?
But Aries is like Jack Palance and Shane. He's like, pick up the gun. Hit me.
Yeah, pick up the fucking gun. I fucking dare you. Pick it up.
Yeah, I don't know. I just want some ginger for my wife and some rock candy for my kids, sir. I don't want to pick up the gun. You all saw it. He had a gun. I don't want to play that game. No. All right. Well, I had. Right. Well. Ollie threw up in the bed. That was a nice surprise. But I mean, what happened? What happened, Aaron? I'm sorry. Whatever happened to you happened to you. What happened?
The tractor I was riding today caught on fire.
Oh my god!
Wow.
Were you were in it at the time?
I was driving the tractor, yes, and then I was engulfed in smoke.
What the fuck?
I had enough time to grab the fire extinguisher before I leaped off the tractor.
Wow. I wish someone got that on video. I'd like to see that.
I would have, but my phones were on the tractor.
Oh no! Did you lose your phone?
No, I didn't lose the phones. The tractor survived. The tractor was drivable afterwards.
Oh, okay, good. All right, because if
Maybe
that
sounds like if Ghost Rider was a farmer.
Because if that would had to come out of your paycheck, I'd feel really, really bad for you.
Oh, there's repairs that need to happen to it.
Raven Shadow can repair them.
Yeah.
Corny laughing at you. He doesn't have faith in your repairing ability, Raven Shadow.
Well, I don't know how to fix fire. I don't know how to do that.
How do you
don't fix fire. You replace what was burned.
Wow.
Quick, get marshmallows.
Yeah. Marshmallows.
How do you fix fire?
I'm not a fucking, you know what I mean? I don't even know who wields fire aside from like Johnny Storm and like Fire Lord. I'm not sure.
Prometheus.
But no, but like
Prometheus.
Yeah, worked out real good for him. Yeah, he did real well. Like Prometheus is the only person that's less of a role model than Tony Montana from fucking Scarface. Like, don't be.
You're probably thinking about the DC villain Prometheus, aren't you?
There's another one.
Yeah, who's the other fucking one? No, the fucking Vulture motherfucker, right? The fire with the fucking back in the day.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
Yep, back in the day.
Yeah, he discovered fire.
Yep.
Aries, send me the cash out. And all I ask is for that Warriors poster. Just send that to me.
The Warriors poster now. Okay, yeah. You wanted the Fight Club before. I'll just clean the wall off, send them all to you.
Okay, yeah, just like MZ's walls.
Yeah, I'll be like Zero's house.
Oh, man. All right, so what else are we doing here? We got 2 movies to talk about. We should probably get into them because we're a bunch of verbose motherfuckers, and we have 2 movies, and MZ is going to turn into a pumpkin in 2 hours. So we got to see what we can do here. So we did talk about a little bit about the Patreon and how Raven Shadow did the blackout tapes, which is one of the perks of being a member of our Patreon. So if that's something that interests you, you want to help support the show, the best way to do so is through Patreon, patreon.com/trickortreatradio. And you get access to all of the archives of the Patreon exclusive episodes. And we have 26 out. 27 is about to drop. I think I'll put it out this weekend. And it's part 2 of the John Carpenter retrospective. So all of that stuff, we have the blackout tapes periodically. It's roughly every 2 to 3 months. And then we have the Monsterpiece Theater Movie Club, which we'll get another one coming up probably in November. And then we have the Patreon takeovers, which is what Corny is doing right now. And then we have the Discord channel. And if you join the Patreon, you get access to all of the channels in Discord. So give that a look, patreon.com/trickortreatradio. And there's a couple other ways you can help support the show. You can go to trickortreatradio.com, scroll down, you look for the Amazon logo, you click it, and it's going to bring you to Amazon. It's going to input our affiliate link, and everything you purchase with that link is going to get attributed to us. We'll get a little cut. It doesn't cost them any extra, though, Michael Raven Shadow.
But it's another way to help keep the lights on.
That's right. So you're gonna shop on Amazon anyways. Just help us out, and we get a little cut. And finally, on trickortreatradio.com, you can click on Store. We have some digital goods. We have the greatest hits of Trick or Treat Radio, volumes 1 through 3. And there you can find a sampler of 9+ years of Trick or Treat Radio. We've this is one thing that I'm proud of the show. We've been doing the show for 484 consecutive weeks. We have not missed a show dropping on a Friday, a new show dropping on a Friday. And I think that's pretty cool. So we have a lot of content out there. We don't expect everybody to go back and listen to every single episode. But if you do want to hear some of the older stuff, you want to hear a little sampler of it, you want to hear the highlights, the lowlights, the midlights, everything in between, the songs, the arguments, the interviews, all that stuff, we get a nice little assemblage of all of that stuff if you head to the Trick or Treat Radio digital store. So all of those things could help support the show and to keep it going. We're on our 10th year. We're going to be we're in the midst of our 10th year. So, and we're also approaching after this, we got 15 episodes to go until we hit 500. So approaching another big milestone coming up in a few months. So, all right, Raven Shadow, what did you do? I know you hate when you have to watch 2 movies, but what did you do to prepare to watch these 2 films for Corny's Patreon takeover?
Did a lot of jumping jacks, Johnny.
I call bullshit.
Is that is that my new nickname? Jumpin' Jack Johnny?
Jumping Jack Johnny Wolfenstein on the wheels of steel. No, I did a lot of calisthenics. You know, did a stretch.
Bullshit.
In the
Yeah, that is bullshit.
All right, I didn't do any of that. I wrote down the movies.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
I was, Corny, let me just tell Corny this real quick. I was shocked. This morning, Corny, I realized that nobody had messaged to ask what the films were, so I got really nervous and really worried that nobody had watched any movies because almost on a weekly...
Now,
Go ahead, Eric.
Well, by no one, you meant Raven Shadow.
Or
I mean, 9 times out of 10, he's the one who asks.
Occasionally MZ. But I was having like thoughts that one of these guys or both of these guys had forgotten that we're doing 2 movies. They're going to watch just one or none or whatever. So I was getting a little worried. So I messaged the group.
As soon as you announce what the movie is going to be for the next week, I always put it in my phone.
I'm glad you do.
Me too.
At least someone does.
Yeah, no, I mean, I almost watched The Black Knight with Martin Lawrence. That would have been weird.
You and MZ could have had a great talk about that one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Can't get that in Maine. So, I mean, no, I get excited because Corny's going to be here. You know, I pay attention. I write things down. And when I...
Wow, you write things down now.
Yeah, I probably...
Well, no. I have a theory. Corny, did he ask you what the movies were for this week?
I think we talked on the phone.
That's fucked up, Corny. Have a conversation between you and I.
I might have mentioned on the blackout tapes too.
Yeah.
Ah, I see.
That's why I need.
So he had to be. He had to be reminded twice.
Yeah.
I need a lot of stimulation.
Yes. Continue.
Yeah,
continue.
Stimulate by.
This is your thing. Come on.
Yeah, you know, so I get excited because Corny's showing up. It's nice. You know, I'm still really pissed off. Whatever the fuck is going on in the monster fucking dilapidated dojo over there, it still confuses me. Aries he's got his own problems. Ask him, he'll tell you. But when I get ready for Corny, you better believe I strap on.
You go through your week with the same old routine.
What you really want is some blood and thunder in your life.
Well, friend, you found it.
The Cromcast is an adventurous journey through the history of two-fisted pulp stories.
With your hosts, John,
Josh,
and Luke.
We have action,
horror,
and adventure, all through the lens of pulp luminary Robert E. Howard.
Don't just stay in your ordinary life.
Find your pulp life at thecromcast.blogspot.com.
The Cromcast.
The Cromcast.
The Cromcast.
A podcast for the barbarian at heart.
Thank you guys for having me on. It's a blast. You guys are awesome.
Thank you so much.
And, you know, Trick or Treat Radio, man. That's where it's at. That's the new Fangoria Radio is Trick or Treat Radio.
No. Don't say that.
That's like,
you really put us under.
It's like swearing in church. Huh?
You just jinxed us.
Yeah. you put a lot on our shoulders just now.
Well, we can strive for
You
greatness.
guys are awesome.
Yeah,
you really are. You got
say
a
that
great
again slowly.
show.
Oh, delicious nerds. Ms. M knows you like to chat it up with other sexy shut-ins about comics, movies, video games, and your favorite TV shows. If that sounds like you, cuddle up to the Trick or Treat Radio Facebook group, or the FIB. That stands for Fan Interaction Board. Just go to Facebook and search for Trick or Treat Radio and have more fun than a Jedi at a lightsaber sale. Not enough? Watch us on YouTube, The Deadites TV, all one word. Last but not least, check out the world's most dangerous talk radio show, Trick or Treat Radio, at trickortreatradio.com.
All right, we are back on Trick or Treat Radio. And it is time for our featured film discussion. And this week, we're going to be kicking things off with The Spine of Night. And this film just hit VOD recently, and I do know this will be hitting Shudder. It's towards the end of this month, right, Corny? I think you messaged me about it.
I thought it was going to be on Shudder, but it's not. I read somewhere where it's supposed to be coming out on Shudder in 2022. So
okay.
It's a Shudder production, but I don't understand why it didn't go on that app at all.
So let me see. I'll look see if I have a release date for it. Yeah, so it just hit theaters and on demand and digital platforms October 29th. And yeah, it is scheduled to hit Shudder in 2022. So it's one of those deals. I think Shudder did this with a few others, with like Mandy and a couple others like that, where it hit VOD first and theaters, and then several months later it will get a release on Shudder. So it's good because you get to have the film make a little bit of money, and before it becomes widely available. So that's cool that it'll be popping up on Shudder. So if you guys don't want to, if money's tight, you don't want to foot the bill, and you are interested, it will be popping up on Shudder eventually. So you can, if you can hold out, it'll be there. So, all right, Corny, what about The Spine of Night interests you to pick it for the show?
When I saw the trailer, it reminded me of like Heavy Metal and Fire and Ice. Yep. And I like those type of films, and I was just going to give this a shot.
Yeah, and this was definitely on my radar anyways, so I'm glad that you picked it, because we would have probably done it anyways, but I'm glad we get a chance to talk to you about it. So let me quickly run down some of the info here about the film. It is 93 minutes, and as I mentioned, it's from 2021, just got a release, and it is directed by Philip Gillott and Morgan Galen King, and it features the voice talents of Richard E. Grant, Lucy Lawless, Patton Oswalt, Betty Gabriel, Joe Manganiello, Patrick Breen, Jason Gore, and Uncle Larry Fessenden, among other folks. And the synopsis: ultra-violent epic fantasy set in a land of magic follows heroes from different eras and cultures battling against a malevolent force. So, yeah, Corny pretty much hit the nail on the head. This is very much in the vein of Heavy Metal, Fire and Ice, the Ralph Bakshi animation style. This was this was rotoscoped, which is I wouldn't necessarily say it's just a throwback, but it's something that's not done very often anymore because you can do things digitally, and you don't need the rotoscoping technique, which for those not familiar with rotoscoping, it is an animation technique where you basically trace over motion picture footage frame by frame. And the biggest, probably, I think Cab Calloway was probably the person who was used most for this back in the day. You guys seen like dancing, what was it? Was it a walrus or something like that? Bones, like all these different rotoscoped animations were done from Cab Calloway's dancing. So it's actually kind of a cool technique, and it's really time intensive. It's not really an easy technique, but the reason they did this, I did a little bit of research on rotoscoping. I knew what it was, but I wanted to kind of dig a little bit deeper. But when you guys see animation doesn't look realistic. Like, things move in unnaturalistic ways, and so it just doesn't look real. So what they did was, and if I'm not mistaken, Max Fleischer, who did the Superman Raven Shadow, he got the patent for rotoscope, for the rotoscope. And yeah, I'm looking here. Okay, so yeah, it was invented by Max Fleischer in 1915. So his patent ran out, eventually, and other folks started using this technology. But it's because the animation didn't look very realistic. So, because it's hard to draw like realistic movements of how we actually move with gravity, and like when you're an animator, you're just kind of like drawing pictures and then you animate them afterwards, and it's tough to get those nuances. So that's what the rotoscoping technique was created for, so that you could basically trace over actual moving pictures. And that's why it looks so realistic. It looks like the movements are there, and it almost has like this sort of like what would you call it? Like I'm thinking in terms of musical terms, but like a flange effect. Like, it's kind of like I don't know, maybe one of you guys could help me out. Like I'm trying to describe.
They're close.
What's that, Corny?
Close.
Well, it's just like it's very natural, and it moves very natural, but it's almost like quick movements, like it looks realistic, but it has a look to it, right? When you see something, it's rotoscoped. So it has a unique kind of look to it as well. And so it's a cool technique, and it's cool to see them using it now, because you can rotoscope using digital effects now. Like, look at Scanner Darkly, some other films like that were done. I'm fairly certain that was done digitally, but a lot of times now it's done digitally. Like, there's a new show, I haven't seen it yet, but there's a new show on streaming that uses like a digital rotoscoping technique. I want to say it's called like Undone or something like that. Have you guys?
But I think we did a movie. Didn't we do a movie that had a little bit of that?
Yes. Yes, it was the Congress, right? Yeah, it was called the Congress of the Cow.
Me too. Yeah, the Kung Fu Scout. No, that was last Saturday. But
yeah, so it was and the show is called Undone, and I was right about that. And it is an animated series that uses rotoscoping, and I'm fairly certain that it's done digitally. I've never seen the show, so I can't really speak to that. Has anyone seen the show Undone? It's on Prime. No. Okay. Anyways, it sounds kind of interesting, actually, from what I saw. Bob Odenkirk is in it as well, I saw. But it uses that technique as well, but I think it's all done digitally. But it's cool to see hand. At least I'm fairly certain they did this like by hand, which is a very time-intensive technique. So in this day and age, it's kind of cool to see them using this older technology, and I can't even imagine how long it took them to make this. But I mean, I just think it's really cool that this exists in 2021, and it's a new movie, you know.
And that was my thought too. I mean, obviously, people have been talking about it for a while, as we mentioned before. Yes, heavy metal was what came to mind. Wizards.
Yep.
Fire and Ice. Things like that. And that was from an era where at least for me in growing up, heavy metal was always something that was always whispered about. Like, oh, heavy metal. Like before it was released on VHS, finally, maybe you knew someone that recorded it off TV, or you might get a bootleg. And like I said, even Wizards was brought to the Manor back in the day, and Tron and I, got toe up watching that. It was a different, and obviously the Fleischer Superman, which would be a precursor to what Paul Dini did later on, even though it's not a like comparison, but it had that feel to it.
Yeah.
It also had a anthology feel that was not an anthology.
Yeah, and you're right. It sort of was an anthology, but oh man, we're roboting, Raven Child. What'd you do? You do anything?
I did nothing.
Does it sound shitty on your end?
It does sound shitty.
Do your thing with the cord. Raven Child is gonna do some technical issues here. He's gonna
kill the internet.
Yeah, he's gonna kill something.
I can't believe you just told him to fiddle with chords.
Yeah, I did, because I can't deal with this roboting. So, hopefully
your Patreon dollars.
Yeah, exactly. We just got to get a cord. Like it's all it is. I think we just need a cord.
He's gonna die. He's gonna electrocute himself.
Last time
we're gonna watch Raven Shadow die.
Last time he did it. Raven Shadow, if you can hear me, unplug that cord and plug it back in, and let's see if that does it. He's trying.
He's just stupiding his way through IT right now. That's all he's doing.
Oh God. He can't. Can he not unplug a cord? You can do it, Raven Shadow. I believe in you, Raven Shadow.
I don't.
Come on. It's a little bit of confidence here.
Do I see sparks?
Is that a fire?
I thought I saw sparks.
Raven Shadow's gonna get some fire going today, Aries.
If you start a fire, you can say you had a worse week than me.
In the house, yeah. Oh no, I hear static. This isn't a good sign. Oh no, here we go again. We're sorry, listeners. We're sorry. Is that better, Raven Shadow? What's going on? Oh, he's still doing shit. Okay.
Actually, you know what? We're not sorry. If we had more Patreon supporters, we could get better equipment. So
that is
you want better quality? Join the Patreon.
Oh man.
Yeah, we could have somebody in there to monitor Raven Shadow's podcasting.
Oh, don't you stack on
an intern.
Oh, you want an intern? Okay, yeah, we'll get him an intern.
An intern. Seriously, I don't know how long it takes to unplug and plug a cord back in, but
Have you not met Raven Shadow?
Oh man.
It's like he's going to Narnia under that table.
Going to Narnia. Chronicles of Narnia. What?
I wonder if you can go the other side then.
I think. Did you fix it, Raven Shadow? I don't know. I don't hear any robot.
And there he goes again.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. See, do you see what we have to put up with, Corny?
Yeah, see.
Do you want him on your podcast? You can take him.
He's been a guest before. We had Raven Shadow as a guest a while back.
I'm sorry.
He's pretty cool.
Yeah, he's a cool dude, right?
It wasn't in the lair. He was down in the basement near the beer shower.
The beer shower.
I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. I don't think it's me.
Do you still hear us fine?
I hear you better.
Okay, because the roboting stopped, so don't touch anything right now.
All right, so praise me.
Nice. All right.
Keep your feet tucked under the couch.
Raven Shadow, nice job. Nice job, buddy. Give yourself a pat on the back for me. All right.
Took you 10 minutes to unplug and plug in a cord.
All right, back to the film.
There's a lot of fucking chords, Aries.
All right, we're talking about rotoscoping and pretty cool technique and something that you don't necessarily expect to see in a movie in 2021. And this is something I actually looked to see if I could find like a behind the scenes or like some sort of like short documentary about how they did this. And I didn't see anything online. I wonder if there's going to be something with like, like a Blu-ray release or something like that, some extra features that show how they did it. Because to me, this looked hand-drawn. And I think that's pretty fucking cool. And I really want to know how long this took to make and all that stuff. I think that it's really great that it exists. And I think it's like super cool that we have something like this new in 2021. Like you guys said, it's very reminiscent of Ralph Bakshi and Heavy Metal, Fire and Ice, a lot of that stuff. And yeah, I saw Heavy Metal when I was a kid as well. I remember hearing, like that it's something we shouldn't watch, right? It was like that dangerous adult animation, and was it John Candy that did the voice of the the dude? He's like I'm here with my dork hanging out or something like that.
Yeah, I think the first time I saw that was like on Cinemax, like in the middle of a Friday night.
Yeah, that's
sneaking and watching it.
So it was on that.
Yeah, go ahead.
It was also on this too of like Fritz the Cat, and even like I didn't name the picture. It was discussed on Talk Without Rhythm, but like Coonskin, or there was that adult animation that was like before. I mean, we probably knew more adult animation as like Japanimation or which became anime. Fist of the North Star, Akira. But it was that era of like making animation for adults, and it was kind of dangerous because it was like, oh, it's a cartoon, but it's a bad cartoon.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like then you think about it, and at the time, and we had Saturday morning cartoons, so like we were consuming a shitload of cartoons, and then when you hear of like an adult cartoon, it's like it feels dangerous. It's like, oh man, like I got to see that, And yeah, I remember watching Heavy Metal like many times, back in the day. I don't remember how old I was, but I remember checking it out on like you said, maybe it was HBO or maybe it was Cinemax. I don't remember one of those channels, but and it's cool. Like I like the combination of the more adult themed stories with the heavy metal music, and I was a big, obviously still am, but a big metalhead. So I really dug that, and I think that they go well together. Fantasy, stories and heavy metal. It's just kind of go hand in hand for me. So yeah, no, I'm glad this exists. So before we jump into the actual discussion of the film, I want to talk about that. Do you guys have any other any other bits to add about the style and just the fact that it exists in 2021?
Well, I like the style is still around. I mean, we got. I'm going to agree with everyone else about the Fire and Ice and about heavy metal. I also like to throw in there maybe some, not fully on, but also a little bit of Metalocalypse, but also Fritz the Cat and 9 Lives of Fritz the Cat.
Yep.
And maybe throw in a little bit of Cool World in there as well, of its animation style. It's a welcome callback to some animation from back in the day.
Raven Shadow, what were you gonna say?
Oh, I think it was. I think some of us growing up, there was a weird amalgamation of 70s, 80s comic books, heavy metal, punk music, and the animation, and horror movies too. It just was in that wheelhouse, and it just all those things seem to bleed into one another. Where if you liked any of those things, you could be friends with somebody, or it just felt different, and that's why I think we gravitated towards it. And obviously, people growing up may not know the importance of Heavy Metal magazine.
Yeah.
But what it did, and I didn't touch anything at all. But the anthology stories, that was something that you could even buy over the counter. But they may have something, scantily clad, beautiful lovelies and dudes in that Frazetta style. But you might see some nudity, and it was like kind of entry level before you could buy some other magazines and before you had an internet connection. But heavy metal was kind of like dangerous, like the music, or it just was that when you hit 13 to 15, this is the coolest shit ever.
Right. Yeah, and I totally agree with all of that. So let's jump in. I want to start talking about the flick because, I think it's cool that it exists and that they use this technology. But I really do want to dive into kind of what we thought of it. And so it is, I guess, in a sense, I mean, we kind of touch upon some cosmic horror themes here. There's fantasy. There's a lot of different stuff going on with this. And as MZ, I think it was MZ that mentioned, it is presented in an anthology format, even though it's technically not I mean, you could call it an anthology and get away with it, but it is a film that, it's basically told in different stories from different perspectives, but it all adds into the greater story of what's going on. And the cool thing is, I sent this to you guys. I don't know if any of you guys had a chance to watch this, or I should have sent it to you, Corny, because you probably would have watched it. But I don't know if you had seen it.
Thanks a lot.
But there was a short called Exordium, and it came out 7 years ago, and that was sort of the precursor to Spine of Night, and supposedly Spine of Night is the sequel to that short, and it's just available on YouTube. You can look for Exordium. It's titled Exordium, Exordium, a rotoscope fantasy epic by Gorgonaut. So you can find that on YouTube. Check it out for free. It's like a 7-minute short, and it kind of tells the tale of one of the characters in Spine of Night. And so it leads into this. You don't have to have seen it, but it gives you some extra context, which I thought was neat that they provided there. All right, so let's jump in. What do we think about the movie? There's a few different aspects here. There's obviously the voice acting, which had a very robust cast. There's the animation style. There's the content of it. So, I guess MZ, as someone who mentioned a lot of those older sort of adult animation, do you feel that this sort of was in that wheelhouse? Did this fit in with? Could this have been in a double feature with like heavy metal or something along those lines?
Sure. Sure, it fit all the boxes. It filled all the tropes that heavy metal had. Although, well, not actually to that extent. Actually, although I got to admit, it's been a long time since I've seen heavy metal. I should see if it's streaming anywhere. But there is copious amounts of gore, violence, and nudity going on, and I know there was plenty of violence in heavy metal. Nudity, I don't know about. I can't remember about much nudity in heavy metal, or I might have just blocked it out. But there's copious amounts of nudity in this one, and that teamed up with, granted, it doesn't have the beefed up soundtrack like heavy metal does, but it has a decent score, a good story behind it. As far as the voice acting goes, I felt the voice acting was pretty good. Not great, but pretty good. The only problem, the only voice actor I had a problem with was Patton Oswalt, because I mean he's got a very charismatic voice. The second you hear it, you know it's him because nobody else sounds like that.
Right.
And the funny thing is that as soon as I saw the character that he was voicing, I knew that was going to be Patton Oswalt. Now comes voice, and I'm like, son of a bitch, I knew it. And while he does have a good voice, and it's a voice that can be sometimes made, he's got the kind of voice that's made for voice acting. With him, it just feels out of place, because I've seen him in so many other things, and he's a stand-up comic and all this other stuff. So it's like, it kind of just doesn't fit. I love Patton Oswalt. I think he's great. He's funny, but I think he's miscast in this movie, in this role. But everyone else is really cool. Good.
But you just said you knew exactly who he was going to be. By that statement alone, he was perfectly cast.
Yeah, I got to agree with Aries on this point.
Because I could the reason why I knew it was him is because of the look of the character.
Right. So
the
perfectly
look of the
cast.
character. the look of the character, I just immediately knew that was Patton Oswalt. But when I hear Patton Oswalt's voice coming out of that character, it just didn't feel right to me. It just felt like, I don't know how to explain it. It just didn't feel right.
Yeah, because you're not doing a good job, because that's a very contradictory
because you're
statement.
saying it looked like Patton Oswalt, but it didn't sound like Patton Oswalt. That's pretty much what you're saying. Like, I don't know. It's just you're contradicting yourself.
But it doesn't fit. As far as I'm concerned, it doesn't fit. I understand what you're saying, and yeah, you're right. But to me, it just didn't feel right.
See, I would disagree with that. I think
a character who looks like Patton Oswalt, you get someone else, because otherwise you're just getting Patton Oswalt playing Patton Oswalt when he should be playing another character.
So should Ving Rhames play the character like Patton Oswalt?
Well, I think you're going a little bit out of bounds here. I don't think.
How about that, Ryan?
I think Ving Rhames would be an excellent voice actor.
Well, Arby's, we got the beef. I mean, that's pretty fucking.
Not that character though, but I think if you're going to get Patton Oswalt in there, get him to play a character that doesn't look like Patton Oswalt, because otherwise you just got Patton Oswalt in the movie.
Yes, that's what they wanted. That's what they got. I'm sorry. I mean, that is, if you got Patton Oswalt, you want fucking Patton Oswalt. That is the fucking name in this movie.
Yeah, but you don't want him playing a character that looks like Patton Oswalt.
Why?
Because you got everyone else. Because you got everyone else playing a character that doesn't look anything like him.
Because no one else is fucking Patton Oswalt. That is a unique individual.
What does that have to do with anything?
Am I alone in this?
God,
can someone else?
No, you're not alone.
Okay.
No,
you have Patton Oswalt, who is a uniquely sounding and looking individual. So you're going to capitalize on that, regardless of whether it's live action or animation.
Because they're going to be sucking your dick because you're afraid to go against what you think.
Wow.
What? I don't. What the fuck just happened?
Yeah. Well, we're roboting again, first of all, but I don't even know what you mean, MZ. I have no clue what that's supposed to mean.
I think Brad Pitt should have played the Patton Oswalt part.
As long as he can do a halfway decent interpretation, I would love to see that.
Yeah,
Johnny, let's reconnect. I don't think it's on this end.
Can you still hear us? Okay.
You guys are roboting, but I don't know what to take out.
All right. Well, this is a pain in the ass, but okay. Hold on. Let me just get everything ready first. Because the thing is, I have to reconnect and try to maintain something on the show here. So, all right. We're gonna. So Corny has never done this before because this is never. I don't think this has ever happened. Corny, what we're gonna do is we're all gonna end the call. So on Skype, everybody ends call, and then I'll call, and then you rejoin that. So we need to close out this current call because sometimes this happens in a robots and we have to re-add. So if everybody, all of the hosts right now, if you guys could all disconnect. And then I will restart the call in just a moment. All right. So for folks listening live and for folks listening to the podcast, I'm going to attempt to do all this while I maintain talking to you folks. All right. Let me just make sure the call ends, and I'm going to re-add. Of course, MZ didn't fucking end the call. All right, so I think we ended that. All right, so I'm going to add everyone else back in. But I guess I'll talk a little bit about the movie. And one thing I wanted to call out is the backgrounds in this. I really am wishing I could... could have found out a little bit more about this and even have maybe spoke to some of the creators because I'm dying to know how they made this because the backgrounds in this film look so good. They look very picturesque. It's almost a stark contrast to some of the facial animations. And not that I have an issue with the facial animations, but I feel like there's almost a slight disconnect because I feel the quality of the backgrounds was different from the actual characters. Now, this isn't a critique. It's not a bad thing necessarily, but there is a disconnect for me, a slight disconnect. And, I think that my guess is that a lot of these backgrounds are either sort of like I know other technology, but I don't know animation super well, so bear with me. But kind of like how they would use like a matte painting in old cinema, in old films. Like it seems like some of the backgrounds, and I don't know if they're parallaxed. I'd love to see sort of a demonstration of how this was all set up. But yeah, it has a very cool look to it, though. I will say that I think the backgrounds are gorgeous. Like I really love some of the backgrounds and just the setting and the way that they animated them was really gorgeous. So that's one thing that really stuck out to me. As far as the characters, I think they look a little samey to me, and there's. Once again, it's not necessarily a bad thing, just kind of calling out what I see. And it is a lot like the lips and the teeth and things like that all look a little similar to me. And, it's probably just the style because if you're looking at like a comic book, I could totally see a, comic book artists will have very similar techniques and they may draw faces, mouths, teeth the same way for everybody. So it could just be a stylistic choice, but for me, there is a lot of similarities between characters, and just kind of calling that out. It's not like I said, it didn't take away from my enjoyment of watching this, but just one of the things I noticed with the animation. But as I've stated, if they did this all in the true old school rotoscoping technique, I imagine that this is something that would have taken a shitload of time. So I can completely understand taking some shortcuts here or there. All right, I'm going to call these guys back now because it looks like the call ended. So apologize, bear with me again for a moment as I get everyone back in here. And we can resume the conversation. All right, we got Corny. We got Aries. All right. Cool. Let me hear Aries. Let me hear you talk real quick.
Okay, yeah, we got the important ones. Let's move forward.
Exactly. That now we can get moving. Raven Shadow's Skype is probably going to take about 10 minutes to load up anyway, so we'll probably get through most of this film discussion. The computer over at his place is so fucking slow, it's ridiculous. And MZ probably forgot to look at Skype again. So I was just talking about the animation style. I don't want to go too much over that again, but for me, I wanted to see what you guys thought of this. I felt there was, and I don't know what other terminology to use, but like there almost seemed like a slight disconnect between the characters and the environments. I feel like the environments were really detailed and really gorgeous, and the characters had a lower level of detail. This isn't necessarily a negative thing that I'm calling out, but just something that I noticed and a lot of the characters had a lot of facial traits that looked similar from one to another. Lips, the way the lips move, the teeth, things like that. Like I feel like there was a little similarity between a lot of the characters and the way they were animated. Is that something that you guys noticed, or was something that you were thinking of while you watched it?
It's funny you mentioned the teeth because it seemed like they had just like teeth, like it's just like generic teeth they just threw in all the mouths. Like they were all seemed to be the same.
Yeah.
At first, I kind of got the Scholar and the Guardian kind of mixed up.
Yeah.
I thought they pretty much drew them as too similar a character. I knew it was two different voices, but I couldn't. I had to kind of go back and just make sure I wouldn't look at the same character, older version of that same character, the Scholar.
How about you, MZ?
I just got back in, so what was,
the question is did you notice any similarities between the animation style of the faces? Like, were there things that you and did that take away from your experience or enjoyment of it?
No. If anything, I was rather pleased with it. You mentioned the lips. There's like a certain rigidness with the lips, like a certain stiffness with the lips, and the teeth. Yeah, the teeth was pretty much the same, but I enjoyed those little. I don't want to call them problems, but
stylistic choices, maybe, right?
I guess that would be the term, because I mean today's animation is just so intricately detailed that everything's got to have its own little set of rules, as far as movement and things like that, and how that's concerned. Mm-hmm. Here, it's basically the same. And I can appreciate that because that's what it was back in the day, So I mean, as far as the style choice goes, I mean, I'm totally for it, and I was totally fine with it because this is the kind of animation that I grew up watching.
Yeah.
So I was totally down with it.
Okay. And the other question was the environments. I feel like the environments were heavily detailed. And like for me, sometimes I would get lost in looking at the environments, and I felt like there was more detail put into the environments than there was the characters. But once again, that could have just been a stylistic choice,
Well, I got the feeling that there was different animators involved in the environments than there were for the characters, and for them to animate the background was a lot. I'm not going to say easier, but you could animate a background, and that would hold for, multiple frames compared to where the characters had to be animated for each frame, so you could get a little more involved in depth with the background.
Yeah,
I want to say I might have had the same. I want to say I might have had the same problem with like the original Lord of the Rings. Do you remember that one?
Oh yeah, from 1979, I think.
Yeah, I kind of remember the backgrounds being good on that, and the main characters not being as detailed. But it's been a long time.
Yeah,
since I've seen that one.
Good call on that.
Yeah. And as I mentioned, as far as getting Raven Shadow back, his computer decided to want to update Skype. So.
Oh, I hadn't noticed.
He said, "What the fuck?"
He's probably smoking.
He's probably getting pissed, like thinking we left him out. His computer literally is like one of the slowest computers in the fucking world. So yeah, as far as the content goes, this is like, like your typical sort of blood and guts fantasy. Like I loved that there's no filter with the blood and guts. Like they really kind of went for it. Like there is arms being chopped off, there's heads being cut in half, there's bodies being fucking torn apart. Like they just went for it, and I love that because, like why not, right? You're animating a fucking fantasy thing. You can do anything that you want in this. So why not go fucking nuts and have body parts and blood flying everywhere, right?
See, by that notion, I was disappointed because you could go all out, and this was more of just kind of like, it was like here you go. Like it just seemed more, because of the style of animation, it was more of just what you get from a live action rather than an over-the-top interpretation where you get an animation.
But what were you expecting? Like, all right, so like the violence didn't meet your expectations. What could they have done to meet your expectations on that?
Over the top.
Such as, give an example.
I don't know, like more than what we got. This was very just an animation interpretation of live action. When I view animation, I want more than what I would get with live action. And I did not get that with this.
But it's also supposed to show a sense of reality as well, don't you think? The fights felt rather, I mean, for the most part, rather realistic. The characters that were in the movie, were drawn rather realistically. The design of it felt rather real, but the violence doesn't meet that expectation.
Well, if I'm watching an animation, I am not looking for real. If I wanted real, I'd be watching a live action movie. Animation, I want more than you could give with live action. That is part of the appeal of an animated movie, because you can go beyond. You can give more than what you can do with live action.
Okay, you can, but that doesn't mean you have to.
But you should. Otherwise, it is nothing.
No, you don't have to. Why should you? I mean, if you want to, you could, and you could go as far as animation will let you, and that's limitless. But just because you can doesn't mean you have to.
Okay, but you're animating something that was filmed, because it's you filmed the movie, then you're animating what you filmed. Why did you do that? To give more. What more did they give? Why didn't they just show us what they filmed?
Maybe they did.
They didn't. They animated it. Why did they animate it?
You would rather see this as a live feature rather than an animated. Because
they didn't do anything.
Because
they didn't do anything more.
Personally, I think that just because you can doesn't mean you have to.
But then why did they animate it? What more did they give us than a live action?
They don't have to give you anything.
But then why did they do it? Why did they do it?
Because they wanted to, and they could.
They wanted to piss off Ares.
I don't know. I just
we want to piss Ares off so bad.
Yes, essentially. I mean, it just seems like if you're going to do it, there needs to be a reason why to do it.
It could have been a little bit more grand.
Yeah, something. I mean, when you animate something, you're doing it because you cannot do it in the real world. Whether it is something little or something grand, because you can't physically do it, that's why you're animating it. That's why you chose to do the animation. This movie they just animated what they could do. And simply because it's a nostalgia feeling towards animation of the old, I need more than that. Because you know what? If I wanted the nostalgia, I would watch what I loved. This gave me nothing more, nothing new.
But I mean, and to be fair, like that's not the goal. Like, I don't think they were trying to give you something new. They were trying to use an old school technique to tell a story of that they wanted to tell. And you know, I think that if they tried to do this live action, it would have failed miserably because I'm sure whatever they had for a budget would not have translated to the screen. You could do anything with animation. I get what you're saying. They could have gone further, but for me, this was just right. Like I didn't when I watched it, I didn't think, oh, I wish they'd really amped this up. Like I think some of the sequences are really quite well done, especially some of the like more surrealistic. You know, I think that's really when they hit their stride, is some of those surrealistic sort of looking scenes.
Now, see, well, my problem is the backgrounds looked glorious, but it was just the characters. There was nothing to them, and the overall story was very lackluster for me. I thought like they could have done more. I mean, for a fairly basic story, they could have done more for, you know, visually. I mean, if you're going to have a basic story, you need visually grand. Or if you're going to have a grand story, you can do visually, you know, lackluster. But you had lackluster story, lackluster visually.
Does anyone, and I'm not trying to single you out, Aries, but does anyone else agree with Aries on this? Nope.
I mean, I'm coming in late because I lost some time.
Yes, you did lose some time, Raven Shadow.
Okay, Raven Shadow, let me clue you in. You agree with me?
I think I may do. I think this movie, and once again, I'm still stuck on the Patton Oswalt thing from before. Well, I think did do his job as the boy king. He was Joffrey. He was Donald Trump meets Joffrey, right? That was his character. The petulant, you know, child. I think he had a great line like, you know, record how many whips this does or how many crack of the whips. And the dude had a bad day for his trouble as a result. But yes, I think I liked the beginning up until the scholar. The scholar made his Charles Durning point.
Yeah.
You know, I was kind of locked into that, but I think I do agree with what Aries is saying, where Right, you could do more. Like why was Superman so depowered in the animated series, the Bruce Timm one? It's a fucking cartoon. There should be no reason to hold back on what they can do with things. And I'm only taking a sampling of what Aries said, but like once again, there are no rules. There are no if you can draw it, you can do it, and you can show it. There's no reason to hold back. You don't get to be TV's Tom Welling, when you can be animated, Bruce Timm. Right?
Sure.
It always goes back to Smallville with
I know, yeah. That's why I was like,
everything
what?
circles back to that.
Yeah.
But right, like I don't know.
I don't know. I like that.
I think some of the more abstract stuff did well with animation, but I think some of the animation was kind of flat to me.
And that's fair. I mean, but we also don't know. I would. That's why I want to know the story, like, because I think there was listed, at least in the initial credits. I'm sure there was additional artists, but there was like 3 artists mentioned, like 3 main artists. If this was done by 3 artists, that is fucking nuts. And I give them all the credit in the world, and I also give them a lot of fucking breaks because I can't even imagine how long it took to do that.
100%, and there's no criticism in the art that was done.
Yeah,
you could say, oh, I didn't like this, or they could have done more, but this was a feat, a creative feat. Absolutely, there's no ifs and buts about that. So definitely respect to everybody involved in this endeavor. Right?
I was waiting for a but. I don't know.
That's your statement. So it's yes or no.
It seemed like you were going to a but. No.
No, I mean,
he's always going to a but.
What a commercial, John.
Yeah.
I mean to very oversimplify this whole animation process. There's only so much praise you can give someone to coloring inside the lines.
Aries don't give a fuck.
Which is kind of ironic considering you collect comic books or read comic books. Praise comic books. Which is kind of ironic.
Well, I will shit on a bad comic and I will enjoy a good comic.
He will shit on a comic, folks.
Yes, I will. No bad ones behind me. So you're out of luck on the visual.
That will decrease the value, Aries. But no, I mean,
yeah, I got no bad ones behind me. So.
Yeah. Don't do maybe fucking
never get that great.
He's so dumb sometimes.
Me?
Why?
No, Monster Zero.
He said Monster Zero. Yeah.
Okay,
No,
I missed that.
Aries made the color and the lines comment, and then he mentioned he liked comic books. Well, once art, so fine. So as much as the high art that Butt Crack is, I will defy you to put Mouse, Sandman, and some things up against the art that is Butt Crack. So slow it down when it comes to that.
Whoa! You slow it down, dickhead.
So fine. You know what you're fucking talking about, and you're gonna say Butt Crack is much more important than Art Spiegelman's grandparents being in the Holocaust. Defend that, dummy. When you move to fucking Maine, defend that, dummy. Okay?
I truly think this.
Right.
I am so happy right now. They're fighting. There's an argument happening, and I'm not involved.
I truly
because
think...
Art
Palpatine.
Spiegelman's work on Mouse, which once again detailed the Holocaust that his parents went through, is just like Butt Crack and Optimus Prime. So why don't you fucking slow it down when you move to Maine and your girlfriend makes you sell all your own shit? That's fucking great. You're a big fucking winner. Okay, you're a big fucking champion. Okay.
MC, will you let Raven Shadow visit you in Maine?
Not anymore.
Because comics are stupid.
Holy shit. I truly think that this has now become a like weekly therapy session for Raven Shadow. Doing the show. You have anything else to get out, Raven Shadow?
I'm sorry.
Oh, don't be sorry. I'm loving this. This is great. There's a fight happening and I'm not involved.
There was 3 minutes in a row where Aries did not facepalm. And he's got like he's got like a look of glee on his face.
This is so great. My head hurts. I'm smiling so much. This is
I actually do want to hear MZ try to defend butt crack against Mouse.
I don't even know what Mouse is. I don't even know what that is.
Look it up. Read a fucking book once in a while.
Look it up. Read a fucking book.
Okay. Now, did you hear what he said? Did you hear what he said?
No, of course not. Of course not.
Shut the fuck up.
Because I just want to hear you defend it based on what he said.
All I heard was him talking about Mouse. Or Sandman. I have no idea what any of that stuff is. Sandman the wrestler? I have no idea.
Wow. Okay.
Am I supposed to know this
now,
shit?
No. Now, Holocaust was thrown out there. Can you defend
Holocaust?
Yes. You familiar with the
you
Holocaust?
mean Cannibal Holocaust?
Okay. Wow.
Wow. MZ, did you know that there was a real, actual life event called the Holocaust?
Yeah, but what does that have to do with butt crack or comic books?
Okay.
Please, Aries, go on.
I can't. Come on.
Hey, panty stains. Listen up. I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
Hold on. I'm gonna take exception to that. Do not ever call someone a panty stain. You sound like a fucking dummy. Okay.
Well, apparently it's been an ongoing thing because I've been sounding like a dummy for the past 10 minutes, but I have no idea what
10
you guys
minutes,
are talking
10 years.
about. What are you guys talking about?
Raven Shadow, do you want to quickly summarize?
Yeah. So once again, Monster, I love you. I'm sorry. Maybe because I was off air for a while, but no, you made the comment about columns in the lines and about comics being dumb. And I cited a very important work.
No, that's not what I said. That's not what I said.
You're very dismissive.
I made the connection between how the animation in this film doesn't jive with Ares, but yet it's okay with the comic books that he reads. Meanwhile, it follows the same exact pattern. That's what I was saying.
That's not what I said, though.
That is what you said.
No, it isn't what I said. I merely said it was an oversimplification to praise this for coloring it inside the lines, which had nothing to do with comic books.
Oh.
So are we saying that they don't color inside the lines in comic books?
God, what is even going on?
Yeah.
Oh God, I can't.
Yeah, I can't either. We got to move on. We have another movie to discuss.
Yeah, this is ridiculous.
Yes, it is. Oh, Jesus Christ. All right. So, was there anything else you guys wanted to call out about this movie? What about the storyline? We haven't really touched on the story very much. Did you guys like sort of the places that this went? No.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It pretty much told where the bloom came from.
Yeah.
The mythology of it, and really its effect on people in that world. When it was misused.
Yeah, I thought it was cool. I liked the idea of how, it's sort of like this is maybe an oversimplification of it, but how power corrupts, right? Like people get a touch of the bloom, and it's sort of interesting to see what happens. But no, I did enjoy this, and I think that there was some really, really great moments in this. And as I mentioned, like I can be completely accepting. I will say that I didn't love all the character animations, but I thought that the backgrounds and the environments were gorgeous. And I think there's something. It does have definitely a Ralph Bakshi kind of feel to it in the way that the characters are animated, and I think that's what they were going for, is more of a digital detailed environment with this old style of animation on the characters. So, and for me, it was a slight disconnect. It kind of pulled me out of it a little bit. I wish there was a little bit more detail in the characters. It's a nitpick for me, but that's kind of where I'm at. The voice acting was a little uneven. I thought for the most part it was quite good with the stars that they had, but some of the characters that were voiced by non-big stars, I think was at times a little uneven. But overall, I'm super glad that this exists, and I think it's cool to be able to watch something like this in 2021 and have it be brand new and not something, that was from the 80s. And I love that we have sort of this reemergence of, and not just with this sort of animation, because this is not something that's done very often, but like a reemergence of the things that influenced us when we were younger, like the things that we dug when we were kids. We watched the heavy metal, we watched the 80s and 90s movies, and then now we get Psycho Goreman, and we got Astron 6, and and we have all these other films and TV series that are sort of inspired by the stuff that we grew up with. And I think that it's a cool time. And so I love that they took the time and effort to make this. So I'm so glad that this exists. And yeah, if they had a little bit more money, maybe some more animators, maybe this could look better. But I think with what they were going for, they pretty much nailed it. I think that they really nailed what they were going for. And, for me, I think it's definitely a really fucking good effort on their parts, and I'm glad that it's available. All right, do you guys have anything else before we head to the verdict on this, or should we go to the verdict? All right, I think that means verdict.
Trick or treat, baby.
I wonder if people would say you're a trick or a treat.
Trick or treat, motherfucker.
All right, it is verdict time. We're going to let you know whether this flick was a trick or a treat, and any final thoughts we may have. And let's start with our Patreon takeover guest, Evil Corny.
Overall, I like this film. I'm going to give it a treat. I really would like to see more from these directors, animation style. I mean, with this type of animation. That's it. I don't have too much else to say.
All right. Treat for Corny. How about MZ?
I'm going to agree with Aries on a couple of things. One, I do believe that the story is a little lacking. I do believe that. But I think partially because I felt that it was lacking was because I was so enamored with the style of animation that was played out in front of me, because I haven't seen animation like that in a long time. And it was just like a wonderful callback to my youth and watching old animation like that. It's really a nice callback. Voice acting is okay. The violence is great. And there's CGI in here and it's placed where it needs to be, which I think is very important. But I mean, this is just a visual cornucopia of awesomeness for me. I mean, and I'll go back to the voice acting. I think the voice acting, while I think is okay, it fits the style of this film because that's the way it was back then. In some movies, not all of them, but it just the way, like we were talking about with the mouths, the way they move, and the way their voices coming out of their bodies as the mouths are moving. It works. It feels it looks a little disjarring, but it works. But this is it's not perfect. It's not perfect, but it is good, and it's worth a watch. This is a treat.
All right, Aries.
Yeah, for what this movie was, although it was very nostalgic back towards the animation that we grew up with, or some of the animation we grew up with, the fact that this story was very lackluster for me, it just kind of there wasn't enough to it. You either needed an exciting story or an exciting addition towards the animation, and you didn't have either of those. So to me, this was just kind of a wasted hour and a half for me. So this movie is a trick.
All right, Raven Shadow.
I think we said a lot. Once again, I do appreciate the throwbackness of it. Appreciate the work involved in this. And to be fair, aside from Patton Oswalt, I'm not sure I would have recognized any of the voice actors if I didn't see their names. I think it's cool, and I think this could definitely turn somebody on to maybe watching some of that old school stuff. Not that it is on a huge pedestal for me, but I did, enjoy it growing up. Entry level, a little bit dangerous animation. Again, big ups to everybody involved. I thought it lessened as it went on, and I think it maybe crumbled over its own runtime, where it could have been tighter. I am interested in seeing the prequel that I haven't had a chance to check out yet, and I would love to see what these creators do in either another animated feature or maybe something live action. So overall, I would say this is a tepid treat, a great throwback, and maybe, check out some old stuff and maybe be embracing some new stuff. So yeah, tepid treat for me.
All right. And for me, I've already spoke a lot about what I think about this, so I'll make this brief. But this is a treat for me. I love that this exists in 2021, and I think they did a really great job with this. Nitpicks aside, I just love that this exists, and it is total throwback to me to heavy metal style of animation and Ralph Bakshi and other stuff like that. So I love that this exists, and it's a treat for me. And I think if people are a little on the fence, like I said, wait for Shudder, but it is available on VOD now if you want to go ahead and check it out there. But Spine of Night is a treat, and I think a lot of folks will dig it. All right, so we are just gonna go right into the next film because that's what we do on the Patreon Takeover. And Raven Shadow, I'm sure, is going to take a break. Right, Raven Shadow?
Are we taking a break now?
No, we're not
No,
taking
you're
a
not.
break.
To leave that seat would disrespect Corny.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
Why?
And I'm going to need that cash out, Aries, if he does get out of that seat.
All right, so...
And that poster.
Yeah, and the poster. All right, so that's going to wrap up our discussion of Spine of Night, and now we are moving on to our second film discussion that Evil Corny picked, and that is The Green Knight. The Green Knight from 2021. It got a theatrical release in, I believe it was September, if I'm not mistaken, of this year. It was one of the sort of collateral damage of COVID. It was supposed to come out last year. It didn't happen, and finally got released late this year. And then it was also put out on VOD a few weeks later. So The Green Knight is 2 hours, 10 minutes, and it is written and directed by David Lowery. And it stars Dev Patel, Alicia Vikander, Joel Edgerton, Sarita Choudhury, Anais Rizzo, and Sean Harris, and Kate Dickey, and Ralph Ineson. The latter two were the parents from the movie The Witch. And Ralph Ineson did the voice of the Green Knight, and that dude's got a great voice, so I love hearing him do some voice work. And,
beautiful voice.
Yeah. The synopsis: a fantasy retelling of the medieval story of Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. So, Corny, what were you thinking when you picked this one? How come you picked the Green Knight?
It's one of the first films I saw when theaters opened back up. This actually came out in July, I think, end of July. But I was waiting on this a whole year to watch, and I just wanted to. I know you saw it, Johnny, but the rest of the guys, I kind of wanted them to see this film because I liked it a lot.
Cool. So yeah, and I will admit I live with a Arthurian legend nut. T-Dog is very passionate about her Arthurian literature, and she knows quite a bit about the entirety of the Arthurian myth, to the point where she's learning to speak Welsh so she can read some of those old texts from Wales, which is pretty fucking awesome. So I'm very familiar with the story, obviously not quite as much as she is, but this is based off of the book that is based off of the character from the Arthurian myth. So, let's see here. Let me pull up some more information. Yeah, because the book is Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, and there's also some debate about how to say it: Sir Gawain, Sir Gawain. They actually say it both ways in the movie, which I thought was interesting. Which seemed like they were sort of like paying tribute to both ways of saying it. Yeah, so the film is directed by David Lowery, and previously David Lowery got some praise for A Ghost Story, which came out in 2017, which was a bit divisive. I still haven't seen it, but I know that there is a lot of sort of divisiveness around it. Starred Casey Affleck, your boy Raven Shadow, Casey Affleck.
Oh, he was fucking the bomb and fucking Will Hunting.
Yeah.
Let's see, what else can I say about this? And yeah, so I mentioned that Ralph Ineson did the voice of the Green Knight. And all right, well, let's dig into this one. And yeah, so this is the retelling of the book that I mentioned, Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, written by Anonymous. There's no one attributed to actually having written it. And yeah, this film, its box office definitely didn't do well because of kind of the release. The budget was $15 million and it made 18.9 at the box office. Now, I don't know if this is one that did well on VOD. I know A24 had, they did like a streaming premiere of it, which I thought was interesting. And, they did like 9 p.m. on like a Wednesday evening. I know it was a 9 p.m. on a Wednesday evening because I had the Star Wars podcast to record and I couldn't get it that night. But yeah, so it was kind of interesting the way they did the release. But all right, well, let's jump into this. And were any of you guys familiar with the text, with the book that this was based on prior?
No.
I mean, I remember I said in the last episode that I'm a student of Arthurian legend, but I'm more like summer school student.
You like Chainsaw or Dave?
Yeah, both of them. Yeah, you know what? I really excelled in English class when we did, King Arthur and then like mythology. You know what I mean? But I feel I don't remember the story, but I did have to write. I feel I wrote a story based on, and I call him Sir Gawain. That's how I knew it. And then I was watching that Marion, and I'm like, are we saying it wrong? And then when the conversation came up, well, American schools are dumb. Okay, well, maybe that's fair. Maybe we're a little behind in the rest of the world. So is it just phonetically depending on your background, or how it is? It is both right? Is one wrong?
Well, I mean, I think that we can't fully know because it was written by anonymous. I mean, the character of Gawain or Gawain was probably created by somebody else, but this is stuff that's just kind of lost to history. And there's different variations, but he is most notably King Arthur's nephew, and he's also a Knight of the Round Table. So that's why people would know of him, because he is one of the Knights of the Round Table. But this story was all about him, and we did get to see Arthur in this as well, played by Sean Harris. So it's kind of cool. We got a little glimpse into seeing King Arthur, but this is Gawain's story, and that's why it focuses on him.
And I always get interested. Like I have not seen all the Guy Ritchie, Charlie Hunnam, King Arthur picture.
Yeah, it was okay.
But whenever they do a King Arthur picture, I always wonder like how far are they going to go with the myth? With the magic element. Are they keeping it real? And from what I saw, they went fucking all in on some magic shit. But now, Gawain, I'm gonna call him. I'm gonna pronounce it as Gawain. That's just how I know it.
You say however you want, Raven Shower. You can say Gowan. You can say Gawain. You can say G Wayne. Whatever the fuck you want.
G Wayne.
G Unit. Was his mom Morgan Le Fay?
In some variations, yeah.
Because Morgan Le Fay, because Arthurian legend, much like mythology, is very incestuous. But like she's listed as the mother, but Morgan Le Fay is like the witch, right?
Yeah, there is a lot of variations of that. So.
Right,
respect. I mean, there's just a lot of different variations of the myth, so there's no right one,
And once again, a lot of my stuff is from the Marvel comic adaptations of things.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, mother should potentially was Morgan Le Fay, right? Mordred and fucking Merlin. Merlin could have helped a lot more.
This isn't actually summer school. We're not teaching you.
I could use some fucking help, Johnny.
I know you can.
Fucking Merlin could have done some fucking shit. But this one we saw an aging Arthur in this one. Aging
right.
Which haven't we really seen that much before. Cinematically.
Are you asking or are you telling?
Both.
This is your time to talk. You got the platform, man.
Well, I was doing that, but then you contradicted me and made me fucking feel embarrassed in front of Corny. But I mean, like,
No, I don't.
But there was first night with, what was that, with Connor and Richard Gere? They were doing the rental. And the old guy.
You gonna talk about the movie?
Yeah.
Todd.
I mean, I was talking about fucking Arthurian legend.
Corny. I don't know if he saw this.
I'm wondering myself. I'm kind of.
He's very focused on the Arthurian myth, and not the movie.
Well, there's a particular scene where I was very focused on a green Cumberbund. Just saying.
Oh my god. All right.
I'm gonna need that cash out, Aries. That's all I gotta say.
All right, fine.
I am so ready to quit this show. I am so fucking ready to quit. I really am.
You have the floor. You have the floor. Talk about your Arthurian legend knowledge.
I'm not talking about Arthurian legend. I'm going to talk about this film. Okay.
Please, MZ. Please get us back on track.
Save us.
Yes. God. All right. The idea of this whole, I like the fact that we got to see inside the family of King Arthur. We didn't go into deep, with well, maybe we did. I don't know. Would you say that those people were the group that he was with when the Green Knight appeared? Were those supposed to be the Knights of the Round Table?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. That's what I wasn't entirely certain on that, but the approach on the Green Knight when we first get to see him was very regal and very it felt very highly anticipated, yet being very early on in the film, and I just loved the Green Knight, the character of the Green Knight itself. Just the voice by Ralph Ineson, who is just amazing, and I love the sounds that he moved. He sounded like wood crunching.
Yeah,
every time
it was real cool.
He walked, that was a sweet touch. I love that. But the who is it? The nephew of is it the nephew of King Arthur? Is that who that was? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought he was played really well. I thought he was amazing, to be perfectly honest. He had there's a subtlety about him that was very endearing, and as the movie progressed, you can see him getting stronger and stronger, and as his journey is taking him to so many different places, and I just like the character arc on this.
I mean, and that's truly what this is all about. Is the growth of the character and the character arc of Gawain. And, there's a lot of really interesting. I loved a lot of the costume design, especially I like the way that they did the crowns. I thought that was an interesting way to do it, and very, very cool silhouette. And especially in some of the posters and some of the way you actually see it in shadow in the movie. I just thought it was really, really effective in the way that this was designed. Like, this is, to me, like a complete film. Like, it's firing on all cylinders. Whether or not you like the story being told or whether or not you are on board for it, like, this is like cinema. This has everything. This is a great score. This has great costumes. It's great acting, great effects. Like, it's got everything. And like everything you could possibly want in like a fantasy, like kind of I wouldn't call this an epic fantasy. It wasn't like, that spanned. It was a very personal story. So that's why I wouldn't necessarily consider it an epic. But, it shows the growth of this character and his early beginnings, and, kind of like sneaking off in the night to go sleep with women, and, and like not supposed to be doing that, to becoming this brave character who sort of owns his own shit in a way, right?
Yeah, I especially like when you mentioned the crowns. I liked how there was those plates on the behind.
Yeah,
like it almost had some sort of religious connotation.
Yeah, almost like an aura. Like an aura behind the head. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just the way some of these scenes were shot. It's a great story, a great, basically tightly fit coming of age story. the way it's shot, I mean, there's some scenes in here that looks like it's ripped straight out of a book of fairy tales.
Yeah.
I mean, literally. And the performances here were really, really stellar. They felt genuine and organic. They felt very real. The people playing these roles, they fit the roles perfectly, from King Arthur to G. Waynes or Gawains or Dwaynes or him and his girlfriend and all the people that they encounter and I mean, even the CGI, which I'm not a big fan of at all, just in general, looks really, really good here. The giants, those giants that looked fantastic, and it had a mood and an atmosphere about it that really made you feel like you were in medieval times, So, and the only CGI I really didn't like that much, probably because it was just a little too obvious with the movements, would be the fox.
Oh, yeah. I love the fox.
I love the fox, too.
Yeah.
I did. As far as a character goes, I mean, it just spelled CGI for me on that one. But a good character nonetheless.
Yeah.
But it has a great story, a great score. The wardrobe is outstanding. And the dialogue, you pay attention to the dialogue. It's very 11th, 12th century medieval England. I mean, the people who made this movie did their homework.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like, there's no denying that. It's a marvel of filmmaking, I think. Speaking of Marvel, I'm going to get Raven Shadow involved because first time Mike is popping in. And he says, Raven Shadow and Corny, did you ever read Camelot 3000 by DC Comics? Great futuristic version of the King Arthur Returns myth.
No, nice pull. First time, Mike. Yeah, that was Alan Moore and Brian Boland. That work. It actually had a female Lancelot. It actually had a
Alan Moore kind of is Merlin.
He is Merlin in real life.
Yeah, that's
he's been locked in a duel with Grant Morrison.
Grant Morrison, yeah.
But no, it also had an early same-sex characters hooking up. I've actually never read it, but it's definitely on my list, and I was thinking very much about it first time while watching this, because I do love, I love that shit, and I gotta grab it. But yeah, a great Brian Boland work.
I've never read the book. I just remember it being my peripheral vision, back in the day going to comic books. It was never one I picked up, though.
And just to get Aries involved, Creepy Girl asks, is Aries drunk, passing out?
Always. Well, actually, I wish. I don't
know. So I'm guessing Aries did not like this movie.
Well, more of just what was going on at the beginning of this discussion. Oh, dear God. I don't know. I just really needed to recline and.
Come on, talk about it.
Talk about it. Talk about what? You with your fucking ramblings and.
Oh, here it comes.
No.
Aries is a pacifist now. All of a sudden,
I'm here for Corny.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Aries. I'm sorry you had to deal with this.
Like what are you sorry for?
Yeah, you just send me the cash. Yeah, I'll send you some money so you can have gas to go there and check things out, check things out.
Oh shit. All right. So there's not a ton. Like, we can't get into a super in-depth conversation with this one because mostly because of time constraints. But it's also one of those films I think people should just experience. Like, this is one of those films that we can talk about it and talk about some of the decisions or some of the plot points and stuff like that. But I mean, really, it is a Arthurian adventure, and it's something that you should just experience. And it takes some twists and turns that I didn't necessarily expect. And there's some characters that you see in different contexts that, is sort of an interesting way to go about doing it. But overall, and even the way they did like the little puppets of Gawain, I thought was cool. Like there's so many really interesting aspects of this. It's hard to summarize in just a quick film discussion, but
I really just like the hero's journey in this. From the incident on or the game he's set up with, and what happens to him over that year, and his overall quest. I just thought it was real neat how they did it.
Yeah,
and the fact.
Go ahead, Raven.
Like. Is it really a hero's journey?
It's kind of. I was actually going to add to that, so I was going to say it's kind of, to me, it's almost like the fool's journey from tarot cards.
That was my thought,
which is in a sense the hero's journey, but in a slightly different context.
Like I love that scene early on. I mean, just when Arthur recognized him, at the table.
When he recognized the Green Knight or Gawain?
No, Gawain.
Yeah.
Well, it's not that he recognized. He saw that he was alone. He always knew who he was.
Right, but he brought him in, and his mother wasn't there. We first see him. He's kind of potty, and he's catacombs with some beautiful lovelies. Doesn't have his boots on. We've all been there.
We've all been there. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't wonder.
You know what I mean? Like, where's my boots go, Ma?
Did he piss out of a screen window?
Well, they didn't have screens back in medieval. Dog will tell you that. But I'm gonna say I can relate to young Sir Gawain. He's a very handsome man too, by the way. But when he got to the table, and then when the Green Knight showed up. I like the fact that, once again, this is the first 20, 30 minutes, was all these legends. But the legends didn't quite step up to play the fucking Saw game. Do you want to play a game? No, I don't want to play a game.
Yeah.
I want to play a game, dude. I want to go home.
I want to go home.
Yeah, like, I don't know, man. When you wake up in a fucking basement and someone says, want to play a game? No, I fucking don't.
Nobody said that in this.
But it's kind of like that. It was kind of like fucking medieval Saw, because the Green Knight wanted to play a fucking game.
Medieval Saw.
It was. It was like he was like the Green Jigsaw. Like he fucking wanted to get fucking a little silly with him.
Wouldst thou like to playeth a game?
Yeah. Yeah. Right? It was not a game? I'll see you next year.
Oh, Jesus Christ. All right.
Wayne escalated things a little bit. Like, I don't know. Fascinating.
Would you have cut the Green Knight's head off, Raven Shadow?
No, I would have been like Orange Cassidy. I would have been like, I would have.
You would have like done that Orange Cassidy kick?
Yeah, that's totally what I was thinking. I'm like, all right, so whatever you do to me, I will repeat to you a year later.
Right.
So
right.
I would I would have my medieval sunglasses on and my hands in my medieval jeans, and I would just like give him like a little kick.
You can't even take a shower with a medieval woman without taking off your medieval jeans.
Yeah. A big tub probably, but like this dude, Gawain escalated things.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Just saying. Orange Cassidy style, baby, next time.
One thing I wanted to call out is EF in on the Discord. He wrote a comment that said, "The Green Knight. Hey, was that an AVHJ?" Alicia Vikander HJ.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was.
So now we have the AVHJ and the NKHJ.
I gotta write that down. I'm not sure. There's a lot of letters there, but yeah, that was good.
That was good.
I rewound that a couple times.
Jesus. But there's so many different little sort of like, I wouldn't even call them vignettes, but parts of the journey. And I think that all the characters were really compelling and interesting, and I just was along for the ride and thought it was really well executed. Sarana just tuned in. Sarana says, hello to the Trick or Treat crew. I noticed Evil Corny was on, and he is the best.
Thanks,
wow,
Sarana.
Corny.
Hey.
You guys met when...
It's a fan club.
You guys met when you were up here, right, Corny? You met Sarana?
Yeah.
Okay,
yes,
cool.
yes.
I thought so, yep.
Yeah.
So...
and she takes care of me on comics that are unavailable down here. So...
Oh, nice.
Kind of
That's
gives me hook up on those, yeah.
That's awesome.
And it doesn't take 8 months for you to get them.
I know. Like 2 or 3 days.
Imagine that. Imagine that.
I'll be like, I was like, Sarana, I'm missing Batman 89, and I got it. Just send her the money, and it's getting sent to me.
Wait, hold on one sec. Raven Shadow works at the same comic store. You're good friends with Raven Shadow. Why don't you ask Raven Shadow?
And
he didn't know, Corny. Let me tell you something about yourself. So when he texted me, I reached out, but he already went other motions. But no, I tried.
He already went other motions. The fuck that mean?
You know what I mean?
He already went other motions.
2 or 3 days, Johnny. 2 or 3 days.
I tried.
Also, want to call out another character that was in this, Winifred, played by Erin Kellyman. And if you guys saw Solo, she was Enfys Nest, and she was also Carly Morgenthau in Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yep, yeah.
And supposedly she's going to be in the upcoming Willow movie as well. I like her, though. I think she's got a unique look, and I really liked her as Enfys Nest in Solo.
The first time I saw this, at least in the theater, I thought that her character and Alicia Vikander were the same. I thought Alicia Vikander was playing both parts.
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah.
And that similar look,
And that might have added to the plot, maybe, if that was the case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so let's start to wind this down because we do have a couple of voice messages that I want to get to as well. Let's see. I don't think we didn't get any during the show, but we do have a couple to play. So, is there anything else you guys want to call out specifically about this that we haven't discussed already, or that is something that's maybe more in depth than what we would normally talk about in the verdict? No? All right, let's do it.
Trick or treat, baby.
I wonder if people would say you're a trick or a treat.
Trick or treat, motherfucker.
All right, it is verdict time once again, and we're going to let you know whether the Green Knight was a trick or a treat, and any final thoughts we may have. Let's start with Evil Corny again.
Okay. Overall, I enjoyed this film. I thought it was well made. Had to wait a whole year to see it, because of COVID and that shit. But overall, I love this film, and I couldn't really get in too much of a discussion without really spoiling anything. That's why I was kind of quiet on this. But hopefully, you all liked it, and I'm giving it a treat.
All right, treat for Corny. Let's go to Aries.
Oh, shit! Breaking things up. Yeah. in case people haven't guessed when I'm quiet, yeah, I tend not to like a movie. Yeah, this movie, I was expecting more from this movie. I was looking forward to watching this movie. Although visually this movie was great, the acting was great in this movie. There were some great scenes in this movie, but this movie didn't flow for me. This seemed more of a very disjointed, isolated scenes with walking. So it's not a great movie. This movie could have been more. It should have been more. It should have been better. So unfortunately, this movie is just barely a treat for me.
All right. Let's go to Monster Zero.
I really like the way this movie looked, sounded. It's shot beautifully. The wardrobe, the acting, the Foley effects. It just transported me to the Middle Ages, and I like a movie that does that. Ralph Ineson, of course, is just fantastic. He's just amazing actor, and that voice of his is just booming. There's a presence with him and that voice of his. And for a movie that's 130 minutes long, to me, this moved pretty quickly. I was not bored in the slightest with this. And I'm not a big King Arthur person. I know very little about it. That's why I asked about the Knights of the Round Table earlier. But from what I saw, I dug it. It was a blast to watch and just an incredible film. This is very good. This is a big treat for me.
All right, Michael Ravenshadow.
So I think the Arthurian legend casts a wide net, right? And there's a lot of stuff there. And I think this was a more reeled-in take on one character's journey. Maybe it was or was not how accurate the original tale was. I can't speak to that. Give Percival a movie. Wasn't he a guy? But no, I think I did enjoy this for what it was, and I'm still a mark for anything in this kind of world. I love the colors. I think epic might not be the right word. I think it was very much subdued. Even the opening shot looked like it could have been like a play. It was just very practical in the background. I liked the goose that bit the donkey on the ass. I liked him. One of the first scenes stood out to me. But the great colors, great sets. I did enjoy this. So yeah, if you're a fan of medieval sorcery, Arthurian legend, check it out. Yeah, definitely a treat. Good ending.
All right, and for me, yeah, this is definitely a big time treat. I just think this is a gorgeous movie. I wasn't quite sure what to expect of it because I know, as I mentioned, David Lowery had, some sort of mixed thoughts about A Ghost Story. So I was, curious where he was going to go with this. I know a lot of people hold Arthurian myth in high regard, and there's still a lot of room to tell your own story because these have been adapted so many different times, and a lot of times it's you're not even sure that you don't even know that it's a retelling of an Arthurian story because it's just kind of masked as some or it's just one of those things you just don't know. So they've been adapted so many times. It's the oldest story there is, I believe. King Arthur's story, the oldest and most retold story. But yeah, no, I really dug this, and I think that it's a really interesting character piece, and I love where it goes with Gawain and the arc that it tells, and it's just a beautiful movie. It's just gorgeously shot. everything about it, as I mentioned earlier, is just there. This is like cinematic gold in terms of the costumes and the score and the writing. Everything is just on point, and it kind of had to be. If any of those were off, maybe it just doesn't work. So, yeah, it's a big time treat for me. So there you have it. Mostly positive for the Green Knight. And so, Corny, where did you think did these films land where you thought they would land, or were there any you thought that someone would hate or love that didn't?
I pretty much knew Aries might dislike both of them, but and I'm surprised that Raven Shadow watched both of them.
We think,
but I knew you and MZ would appreciate both films. So yeah.
All right, so let's see. So that is gonna wrap up the film discussions. In terms of what's next week, I'm actually not positive because we have we're trying to do New Guest November. I wanted to start off with the Patreon takeover. So obviously the first episode in November was not a New Guest November, but I'm hoping that the others will be. There's still a little TBD. We got one guest already written down in pen. We got one guest for sure, and there's a couple invites and a couple back and forth with some others. So next week is still tentative and still up in the air. So I don't want to mention anything if it doesn't happen. So we'll it'll be a secret, and I'll let people know on social media, especially on Discord. That's the easiest way for me to communicate with folks. So when I know exactly what we're going to be doing for next week's movie, I will call it out on Discord and social media. So if you're not already on Discord, discord.trickortreatradio.com, you can join, and I'll announce it there. There is definitely some interesting choices out there, so we shall see. All right, but that is going to do it for the film discussion. We do have a couple of voice messages. Let's see here. Let me get these ready. But let's see. All right. Cool. So no voice message from Corny tonight that I don't have to play. That's for sure.
No.
You can't get mad at me, Corny.
Yeah. I'm surprised your computer let me be on the podcast today, but you know.
Well, there was a technical issue at the beginning.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, Corny was like, oh, are they just not going to add me? What's going on here? All right, so first up, okay, so we got two voice messages here. First up, we're going to go down under, and we're going to hear from one of our friends in Australia, and that is Tim from Melbourne. Let's hear from Tim Chuma and see what is on his mind.
Unbelievable. Tim from Melbourne here again. I've still been working from home for the last few weeks. I'm working early, so I don't get to listen to the podcast as much. Yeah, I've been going through a few things. I had the Series Mania Festival a couple of weeks ago, where they showed some TV series over the internet. The one from South Korea by the director of Train to Busan Hellbound, the first 3 episodes. Yeah, beginning to think that director's like a flash in the pan. It didn't really go anywhere, and one of the characters is really annoying, and he keeps saying him. It was, I don't know, the Bible sort of stuff in it. Not really for me. I got the 2000 AD Encyclopedia, so if you've ever read any of those or want to get into it, it saves you having to go to the wiki every 5 minutes when there's a new character. Thor 18 with Throg. He's got the new Avengers together. It's like Lockjaw and the Bats, the Doctor Strange's dog, and the Haunt of Fear, the EC Archives. It's a collection of all the old Haunt of Fear comics from the 50s. Got a introduction for Robert Englund, and I've just started on Carl the Viking. It's an old British comic about a Saxon boy who was kidnapped by the Vikings and raised as their son. Yeah, it's fairly good so far, about half the way through it. All right, thanks. See ya.
All right, Tim from Melbourne. Tim's always checking in with what he's been checking out. Checking in with what he's checking out. You like that, Raven Shadow?
I dig it.
You dig it the most? All right, so awesome to hear from Tim. And next, we're going to hear from Arkham Josh.
Hey, Trick or Treat Radio guys, it's Arkham Josh here. Just calling, checking in with a little update. Haven't caught up on everything. But as far as this week, I haven't seen The Green Knight yet, but I was able to check out The Spine of Night. And I thought that was a fantastic throwback to the classic rotoscope, fantasy films of like Fire and Ice and Wizards and things like that. I'm a big fan of that kind of stuff. I was also kind of excited, so I didn't realize when I put it on that it's local. I know Philip Gillette, the co-writer, co-director. He lives in Providence. Worked on a couple of events with him, and he's a nice guy. And he's got a couple previous films that are really interesting as well. So that's always an extra bonus when you're like, oh, it's somebody I know. So I thought the story was really interesting. I thought the art was really good. So I'm gonna say treat and recommend on The Spine of Night. I hope to get around to watching The Green Knight sometime soon, and I'll update you on that as well. As far as last week's film, The Night House, I actually got to see this probably about a month ago. Steph and I went and saw this in the theater, and this movie was just wonderful. I really liked the story and the acting, the overall look of the film. I thought that this was also a treat and a recommend. And I thought it worked really well in the theater. I'm glad it seems like it worked well for you guys too in the home viewing. I know sometimes films that are a little bit slower might not always translate well into the home. So I am also going to give The Night House a treat and a recommend. And I wanted to bring up a little bit of trivia concerning The Night House. I had recently listened to an interview with the writers, Ben Collins and Luke Petrowski. And something came up in that interview that was real interesting, especially since the film's director is now working on the next Hellraiser reboot. Well, the script, The Night House, started as a pitch for a Hellraiser film, where the writers were apparently brought in and said, hey, we might be rebooting Hellraiser. What would you guys do with it? So long story short, just, this film could have fit into the Hellraiser verse if instead of finding the weird books about architecture in the other house after her husband died, if she had opened a chest and found some books on the occult and the lament configuration. And that was pretty much, their pitch going on it from that direction. So, I don't know. I thought that was interesting that it has kind of connections to Hellraiser on two different ends. So, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I got to catch up on. I know there's something that I'm just forgetting at the moment. So, I don't know. Hopefully I'll bring it up next time. I hope you guys are all doing well. I hope you guys all had a good Halloween. I haven't had a chance to listen to the Halloween special yet. And I don't know. Hopefully I'll get to see some of you guys again in the future. Oh yeah, that was one of the things. Is it was nice seeing Monster Zero out at the Monster Expo. There wasn't a whole lot going on there, but at least I got to say hi to a few people. So, all right. I'll talk to all you guys soon. Have a good one. Bye.
All right, Josh. Thanks for checking in, man. And that's interesting about what he brought up about the Night House. I actually didn't know that. That's really cool that it was sort of like a pitch, in a sense, for Hellraiser. So, pretty interesting. I could see the Lamont configuration in that house, right, MZ?
Sure can, you big dummy.
Yeah, not the Lament configuration, the Lamont configuration.
Lamont, you big dummy. How would you like 5 of these where you sneeze?
All right, I thought we had another voice message, but that was for another show. So that is, I think, all we got for voice messages. All right, well, that is it. So do you guys have anything else you want to bring up before we start saying our goodbyes? Raven Shadow, anything else to get off your chest in this therapy session?
Not really. I'll save it next week.
Yeah. Go save something.
Yeah. Thank you, Corny.
You're welcome.
For what? Making you watch a 2-hour and 10-minute movie?
That's fun. I like Corny's smart. I like watching what Corny watches.
I'd love to see you try to keep up with him watching movies. You would fail after 1 week.
Thank you.
1 week, 1 hour.
Yeah, 1 hour. An hour into the first movie.
Trying.
Corny, you do at least one a day, right? It's pretty much roughly.
Something like that. I picked 7 out of my stack of. I make a stack out of my collection and of 7, and just try to watch those 7 movies during the week and go from there. I guess the average one a day, but
Yeah, sometimes you may do 2.
Last 2 days I haven't been watching anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So Raven Shadow, how many could you do in a week? Just the one for the show, and 2 is impossible.
I did fucking 2, man. I still gotta finish the end of fucking recent Titans. I still gotta watch the last 10 minutes of A Stargirl. Shit's too fucking long.
Did you ever finish John Wick?
You didn't watch John Wick 3. No, you didn't watch it.
Oh, I have. No, I have. I've seen all of them.
You didn't tell us, I don't think, did you?
Well, I'm
No,
sorry.
actually, I'm sorry. I think you did. Because Ollie was loving the dog action, right?
He did. He does like some dog on dog action. That's true.
Okay. Come on, man.
Little puppy porn.
Oh, he's the beach. I was having fun with it. But no, I'm all caught up on the John Wick. There's gonna be a part 4, right?
Yeah, it's already been announced.
Yeah.
Donnie Yen's going to be in it
all day. I think John Wick has killed more people than Michael Myers, fucking Jason Voorhees combined. You see that meme, that fucking thing? Like, yo.
It's true.
John Wick 1 is a fucking masterpiece.
What are 2 and 3? Chopped liver?
Not chopped liver, but a little much.
A little much. What the fuck is that?
It's a little crazy. When all the bums in New York are fucking undercover assassins, sometimes they're just fucking bums. You know what I mean?
Not all of them.
I think all the bums in John Wick's New York, they're all fucking.
That's not true.
Corny.
I don't think that's true.
Corey's
not
Bobby Blockbuster. I'm gonna message Bobby.
All
No,
right.
I love John Wick. All right, what the fuck?
You're cut off, Raven Child. All right, you're cut off. MZ's gonna turn to a pumpkin. It's 3 minutes past 11. Look at him. Look at him. He's tired.
He's tired from taking all his.
Sarana says, I have an unreasonable love for John Wick.
Thank you.
Raven Shadow, why don't you go as John Wick for Halloween?
To be fair, I had John Wick's look before fucking John Wick.
I know. But now Now everyone thinks that you stole the look.
This is the thing, and I have a very dear friend of mine at the shop whose first memory of me is like, yeah, when you did John Wick cosplay. I'm like, no, sometimes I'm just wearing a suit.
You're like, that's just me in my everyday attire.
Yeah, I have a fucking suit on.
Was your John Wick out cool?
John Wick out cool. Serrana says the world would be different if bombs were assassins.
And she knows.
Can't argue with that.
Oh man, I put on the Green Knight, and it's on the AVHJ scene right now. Jesus Christ! What a hell of a way to wrap the episode up.
So Raven Shadow, I gotta ask. You realize you're not John Wick, right?
I am no John Wick, sir.
Okay. Well, because when Serrana said she had an unreasonable love for John Wick, you said thank you.
That is true. You did say that.
I adore John Wick too. I do have
in addition,
but
as well.
But thank you was not an appropriate response to that statement.
I will tell you this: I had fucking John Wick's look before John Wick. I had Johnny Damon's look before Johnny Damon. I had Captain Jack Sparrow's look before Jack Sparrow. So just saying. You know what I mean?
So what you're saying is you're very common.
You're the
Are
originator.
you spouting Jerusalem also?
You're the originator, right?
No, he's just very common.
Jesus of
Maybe
Nazareth. Did he get his look from you?
No, maybe not the type of description.
He is template A.
Did Jesus copy you? I want to know.
He did. I mean, that's why my birthday came later. I was doing the 25th, but you know what? 27th. That's fine.
Jesus of Raven Shadow.
And the Jesus of Raven Shadow. Listen. Thank you.
Jesus Christ, man. Like literally. You think Jesus Christ stole your fucking look, don't you?
No. I mean, no, to be fair, he probably wasn't Caucasian. Just saying.
You don't have to whisper that.
No,
he wasn't. He wasn't. Yeah. It's no secret. He wasn't. He's not a white fucking dude.
You make it you make it sound like it's a bad thing.
Probably not Italian. I'm just saying.
No, he was not Italian.
He was not.
No. Jesus Christo.
Jesus Christo. Oh shit! Serrana says, "Truth's out. Raven Shout has fantasies about being John Wick." We got fucking Jesus Wick over here.
Well, hey, look, for 20 years, the guy thought he was X-Pac.
Yeah, did he steal your look too?
No, we compared it. I think we both had an understanding.
We had an understanding. No, you stole your fucking look from X-Pac, and now you.
No, I have. No. I have my look before X-Pac, but you think I didn't? The fuck?
Oh, we got a late entry voice message. Literally just came in.
Literally, who is this?
Let me pull it up here. Hold on. I just got to download it. MZ's gonna fucking flip out with another voice message.
Oh, I'm so fucking tired. I gotta take my. I
he-
gotta sell more things on eBay.
When he lives in Maine, what the hell are you gonna do? You gonna go to bed earlier? You're gonna go to bed later?
Yeah, I'd be like fucking Newhart.
Are you opening a bed and breakfast? I'm coming to your bed and breakfast if you open a bed and breakfast.
If you open a fucking
You're
bed,
all in that shower.
I will take it all back.
First time Mike says Raven Shadow blessing everything in sight. Cigarette hanging from his lip. That is a fucking sight.
Spirit Asante, Dominus Cancer. Here you go.
Bless him with a chorus too.
Yeah.
Thumb over the mouth of the chorus.
Rolling rock. He's gonna fucking.
Will you be making that water into Rolling Rock or vodka?
Raven Shadow would turn. Yeah, you'd turn fucking water into Rolling Rock if you could.
No, well, maybe Coors Banquet because I like the
Coors Banquet. All right, so let's hear from Willie Nobody. That's what it came. He came as Willie Nobody. So let's hear from Willie Nobody.
Hey, what's up, dudes? It's your favorite Australian, Willie Nobody. How you going? I just wanted to call in, say, I think Cornelius has come up with some really interesting picks. I couldn't watch The Spine of Night. It's on at the Sydney Film Festival in about a week, but it's not on VOD yet here. And I just wanted to say I'm going to listen to the show. I'm at work now. Listen to the show later on. Sorry, Corny. I tried watching The Green Knight last night. I watched about 40 minutes of it and fell asleep. I did a Raven Shadow. I was exercising yesterday, big day work, fell asleep. But what I did say of it was very interesting. At first, I was a bit confused. There was a lot going on. All these sort of discordant sounds and background sounds leading up to something, which I don't like that sort of noisy, like clutter, but then it started getting better and having more sort of traditional soundtrack, and I couldn't figure out what sort of movie it was until I turned the subtitles on and I could hear it better. And I said, oh, this is an adaptation of a literary work, an older one, and then I got started getting into it, and it seems really cool. It's something different, like watching a adaptation of Shakespeare or something like that. So have a great show, and I'll catch you later. And remember, do not discuss my tail.
The Tale of Willie Nobody? Was anyone, you know that tale, Raven Shadow? You familiar?
Oh, it's a tale as old as time.
Willie Nobody is me and him watch Curb Your Enthusiasm, and the season opener. There was an incident that happened, and JB Smoove was asked by a cop what his name was, and he said Willie Nobody. That's where Dane got that from.
Oh man! All right, so glad we got that in the last minute. So Dane Under, it's always a pleasure to hear from you, my friend, and glad we could do that. Let's see. First time Mike says the miracle of the never-ending Mama Celestes. Talking about Jesus Wick. Although you don't fucks with Mama Celeste anymore, Raven Shadow, do you?
No, they ain't the same since they got rid of the plate.
The silver plate, right?
Silver plate, yeah.
The cancer-causing plate.
Yeah.
It's reading the multitude with Mama Celeste.
Yeah, I love how Monique and Unique are in pain the whole fucking time. It just blows me.
Monique and Unique. Raven Shadow misses eating off a silver plate. You think it's a silver platter, don't you?
It's just like a silver platter. Yeah, like I don't know. Just come over, man.
You need a silver spoon to eat it with.
I need like Ricky
fucking Schroeder.
Ricky Schroeder. I almost said Ricky Stradlin, like the Juju Hound. Somebody different. Ricky Schroeder.
Oh, Mars just tuned in and he says, I love corny.
Perfect.
Now everyone's joining in as we're about to end.
Is everyone's clock broken?
Yeah.
Was it daylight savings and no one told me?
Yeah.
Is that what's going on?
Raven Shadow. That happens this weekend, by the way.
What?
You're going to gain an hour. What are you going to do with that hour?
Oh, fuck me. Jesus Christ. I'm getting out of here. Corny, it was good seeing you, good buddy. Thank you for joining us.
You have a good night, man.
Yeah, you too. And you three, you people are hopeless.
You people? You people?
Yeah. Yeah, you people.
The ball's on you.
Don't you know it?
Jesus.
Don't you know?
Jesus, Wick. Jesus Wicko.
Thanks
All
again, Corny. Thanks, bud.
Later.
Hey, see you guys later.
All right.
Bye.
Say goodbye, MZ. Oh, I didn't do his fucking thing.
Sucks.
I was literally about to say goodbye. Arrivederci, douchebag. That's MZ.
He is in trouble.
Why?
We have to save him.
Well, you and Aries are the closest ones, so you're just gonna have to do it.
There's something going
Save
on.
him from what?
From moving. He's getting kidnapped to Maine. Aries, we can't let anyone else hear this.
We can't let him go to Maine. It's fucking beautiful in Maine. We can't let him go there. They have blueberries there. Fucking blueberries.
But it is a little weird that he has to take everything off the wall and he's not moving for a year, right? Almost a
Right.
year.
That's why I think Goodwill. I think Goodwill. I think that all shit's all going to Goodwill.
But they're getting a house. I don't know. All right, never mind.
I don't think it's a matter of space.
We're gonna end he's probably gonna grow up and be an adult. Finally, right? He's 50. It's about time.
None of my business. Yeah, I mean, I would just say wait till the fucking convalescence home, right? Like, just wait till.
So y'all thinking that something was said like, ain't gonna be no Transformers in this damn house?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, that's pretty much it. All right. Well, let's say goodbye. MZ's gone, so fuck him. Aries?
Corny, always a pleasure, my friend.
Thanks.
All right. Everyone else, goodbye.
All right. And since Raven Shadow likes to go second to last, we'll say goodbye to Corny right now. Corny, let folks know again where they can listen to you on podcast. And feel free to say whatever you want, Corny.
Thanks for having me on the show. Love you guys. You can check me out on my podcast, From the Canopy Movie Massacre. We also, Corey, my co-host, and Bobby, it's me, Corey, and Bobby on the Movie Massacre, but Corey also does other podcasts. He does hip-hop podcasts. He does video game podcasts. Barbecue, I forget the name of it. He does video game podcasts. He does TV podcasts, and he does regular From the Canopy podcasts.
Yep.
It's
got a podcast empire.
Yeah. And Evil Corny out.
First time Mike says MZ's new Airbnb will be called the Rocky Overhang. Oh, shit. And Mars says my clocks are broken. He says he looks good for 50. Talking about MZ, I guess. And Podcast Empire Strikes Back. There you go. All right, Raven Shadow, your turn. Say goodbye.
I love you, brother. It's great to share a show with you yet again. And until next time, live fast, love hard, survive with your mask on.
All right, Corny, thanks again, man. And Patreon takeover, we appreciate all your support and your friendship. And it's always a pleasure to hang out with you, my friend. And Corny, keep on me about this. If we do a Matrix podcast for the Matrix Resurrections, Corny's going to be on it. So,
thanks, man.
If we do that, there's still a little up in the air. It seemed to be some interest, but if people want to hear us talk about the Matrix for hours,
7 hours.
Yeah, let us know.
Matrix talk.
We'll do a special for that. So, Corny, thanks again, man. We appreciate you. Your support and your friendship and hanging out, and hopefully it's hopefully real life will go back to normal soon enough where we can have another big get together with a bunch of people, including you. So that is gonna do it for the show. Once again, thank you to Corny for picking such cool films to discuss, And I'm actually glad we got a chance to talk about The Green Knight with everyone as well, because it was a film that I dug, and we probably wouldn't have done it otherwise. So kudos, Corny, and all of our other Patreon supporters. Thank you guys so much for helping to keep the show going, and everyone who listened live, and everyone who will check out the podcast when it drops everywhere else. You guys are the best, and we love you, and we will see you back next week for potentially a guest and an unknown movie as of now. See you then.